From Viera, Florida, to the world via the internet, welcome to Brevard County Manatees Baseball. I'm Stephen Smith of SpaceCoastBaseball.com, and I'll be telling you about tonight's game from the first pitch until the final out. Well, I have good news and I have bad news for you. The good news is that we have a matchup of two evenly paired teams tonight in the Manatees and the Fort Myers Miracle. The bad news is that they're evenly matched because they're two of the worst teams in the Florida State League. The Manatees right now at 16-30 are in last place in the 16 North Division. They are 12.5 games behind first place Dunedin with 24 games left in the first half. The Fort Myers Miracle are in the South Division of the Florida State League. They are 19-27, 9 games behind the first place Bradenton Marauders. If you compare the two teams in terms of their team statistics relative to the rest of the league, the Manatees' batting average at .260 ranks them 7th in the 12-team Florida State League. Fort Myers is number 11 at .239. But the Manatees have hit only 4 home runs all season long in 46 games. And all 4 have been on the road. None have been here at Space Coast Stadium in Viera. The Miracle have 16 home runs this year. But the Manatees have scored more runs, 190 to 164 in 46 games. If you compare pitching, the Miracle's pitching staff is 10th in ERA at 3.94, while the Manatees' ERA at 4.35 is the worst in the Florida State League. This is the first time that these two teams have met in 2010, both teams having a subpar first half. But a year ago, the Manatees and the Miracle were in the first round of the Florida State League playoffs. The Manatees in the North Division against the Tampa Yankees, while the Miracle were in the South Division playoffs against the Charlotte Stone Crabs. Both the Manatees and the Miracle were eliminated in the first round. And of course, from year to year, rosters do turn over in the minor leagues, and so every year it's a different story. I'm going to give you the starting lineups here in just a moment, so if you want to get a pencil and paper ready, I'll have the lineups for you in just a moment. While we're getting ready for that, if you happen to be in the area, come on over because it's Thirsty Thursday, which means all drinks, Diet Cokes or beer are only $2 a piece. It also happens to be Hockey Night, which is being sponsored by the Space Coast Iceplex. You can check them out at spacecoasticeplex.com. And you'll notice that the staff, including Manny the Manatee, are all wearing hockey jerseys. I've seen some of them wearing Blackhawks, some of them wearing Philadelphia Flyers. I saw Tampa Bay Lightning down there. So if you happen to have a hockey jersey there in the closet, bring it out and enjoy Hockey Night, eh? Also, if you want to just come out anyway, single game tickets are only $7 each, and if you happen to be a student or if you are in the military and you produce your ID, you can get into the game tonight for only $5. The weather forecast right now is looking pretty good. There's a 25% chance of rain in the next 2 hours, according to weather.com. However, I don't see any clouds on the horizon here as we look out to the southeast. And just before we went out on the air, I looked on the other side of the stadium, and it looked pretty good as well. So I think we're going to be able to get in most, if not all, of this game without any weather interruptions whatsoever. All right, if you're ready for the starting lineups now, I'll give you the lineups first for the visiting Fort Myers Miracle, a Minnesota Twins affiliate. Leading it off and in center field is number 44, Joe Benson, B-E-N-S-O-N. Batting second and at shortstop is Estarlin de los Santos, number 15. His first name is E-S-T-A-R-L-I-N, de los Santos, D-E-L-O-S-S-A-N-T-O-S. Batting third at first base is number 27, Chris Parmalee, spelled P as in Paul, Armeleee. Batting fourth is the designated hitter, number 24, Davidson Romero. That's D as in David, E-I, B as in boy, I-N-S-O-N. Batting fifth is the right fielder, number 21, Evan Bigley, B-I-G-L-E-Y. Batting sixth is the catcher, number 7, Chris Herman, H-E-R-R-M-A-N. Batting seventh is the second baseman, number 19, Brian Dozier. Batting eighth is the third baseman, number 5, Nick Romero. And batting ninth is the left fielder, number 18, Jonathan Goncalves. And he spells his first name J-H-O-N-A-T-H-A-N, last name G-O-N-C-A-L-V-A-S. The starting pitcher for the Miracle is number 20, Liam Hendricks, L-I-A-M-H-E-N-D-R-I-K-S. And now I'll give you the starting lineup for the Brevard County Manatees. Leading it off and at shortstop is number 17, Josh Prince. Batting second and at third base is number 3, Matt Klein, C-L-I-N-E. Batting third is the designated hitter, number 8, Eric with a K, Komatsu, K-O-M-A-T-S-U. Batting fourth is the center fielder, number 20, Kentrail, K-E-N-T-R-A-I-L, Davis. Batting fifth is the second baseman, number 10, Sergio Miranda. Batting sixth is the first baseman, number 44, Sean, S-E-A-N, Halton, H-A-L-T-O-N. Batting seventh is the catcher, number 13, Sean, S-H-A-W-N, Zaraga, Z-A-R-R-A-G-A. Batting eighth is the left fielder, number 47, Scott Krieger, new to the Manatees roster. He was just added today after being reassigned from Double-A Huntsville. It's Scott with 2 T's, K-R-I-E-G-E-R. And batting ninth is the right fielder, number 30, Juan Sanchez. The starting pitcher for the Manatees is number 19, left-hander Dan Merklinger. Some roster moves for the Manatees in the last couple of days. On May 24th, pitcher R.J. Seidel joined the Manatees roster from extended spring training in Maryvale. Josh Butler, who had been with the team for a couple of days, was promoted to Double-A Huntsville on May 26th. And Milwaukee Brewers third baseman Matt Gamble, who was here on rehab assignment, moved up to Double-A Huntsville on the 26th as well. Ruben Flores, a pitcher for the Manatees, was placed on the 7-day disabled list on the 26th. Then today, Scott Krieger arrived from Huntsville, and Juan Sanchez, who began the year with the Manatees, also returned from Double-A Huntsville. The two umpires are coming to home plate right now. The home plate umpire is Brandon Henson, H-E-N-S-O-N. And the infield umpire is Roberto Medina. Bringing out the lineup for the Manatees is manager Bob Missick, M-I-S-C-I-K. The manager for the Fort Myers Miracle bringing out their lineup is Jake Maurer. As you might suspect, he's the older brother of twin superstar catcher Joe Maurer. Similar relationship that the Manatee Steve Braun has to the Brewers Ryan Braun. If you haven't listened to one of our webcasts before, this is not the traditional radio broadcast you're used to with minor league baseball. The Manatees do not have a radio contract, so Space Coast Baseball volunteered to webcast 15 games over the internet for free this year. So that means the format will be a little bit different. We don't have any commercials either during the game. We don't have any breaks between innings. The upside of that means that I can continue to talk to you between innings about whatever subject we have to be on at the time, or maybe expand a little bit more on your minor league knowledge. On the other hand, it means that I don't get a break. And so from time to time, what that means is that I may need to turn the sound off for a couple of seconds to clear my throat, and that'll sound like this. Hi, I'm back. Also, sometimes I might just put the headset out the window between innings and let you listen to the crowd noise if I need to take an extended break. The last webcast that we did on May 16 against the Palm Beach Cardinals, we had a 2-hour rain delay, and so we had to stick that one out, but we finally got the game in, and so we had to be kind of creative about what we talked about. I certainly want to encourage you to send me emails during the game, which I will try to check between innings, so if you have any questions or comments, or you just want to let me know that you're out there, you can email me at home@spacecoastbaseball.com. Again, that's home@spacecoastbaseball.com. Or just go to the homepage at www.spacecoastbaseball.com, and you'll see a link there at the top of the page that will take you to email, and you can send me a message. Well, it's 7 o'clock here in Vieira, Florida, and the managers are still talking to the umpires about the ground rules. And we should be doing the national anthem here any moment. The weather currently 79 degrees with the wind out of the northeast at 14 miles an hour. I'm looking out at the flagpole, which is just to the left of the batter side. The flag is in left center field, and it's pointing in the direction you would expect if the wind was coming out of the northeast, although it doesn't look like it's about quite 14 miles an hour. That wind will generally help anybody who hits the ball to the right field side. The Manatees have yet to hit a home run here in 2010. Space Coast Stadium is one of the most pitcher-friendly ballparks in a pitcher-friendly league. So we don't expect to see a lot of home runs tonight, but you never know. And if a hitter can get a ball up in the wind going to right field, then maybe the Manatees can get their first home run this year. All right, well, the Manatees take the field wearing their white jerseys, and they're accompanied by children, as they often are, as they go on the field. We're about ready to do the national anthem, so I'll stick the headset out the window, and I'll be back right after that.
Left fielder Cameron Matos, and center fielder Michael Zoki. The manager of the AAA Raptors, John Malatino. Assistant coaches are Dave Cornish and Kevin Farley. And now, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, to honor America, will you please rise and remove your caps for the singing of our national anthem. Tonight's anthem will be performed by Monica Williams.
Oh, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets raging, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
That was Monica Williams. Thank you, Monica.
Hi, everyone. We're back.
And now to hand for the AAA Raptors and Vieira Century Little League as they hustle off the field.
The Manatees have taken the field, and they're warming up defensively here for the top of the first. The Manatees defensively have Sean Halton at first, Sergio Miranda at second, Josh Prince at short, and Matt Klein at third. In the outfield, newly arrived Scott Krieger is in left. Kentrell Davis is in center. And in right field is Juan Sanchez. Behind the plate is Sean Zaraga. And on the mound is left-hander Daniel Merklinger, making his 6th start of the year, his 10th appearance. Daniel has a record of 2-1 with a 4.68 ERA. In 42 1/3 innings, he struck out 36, walked 15, and given up 3 home runs. Merklinger, 24 years of age, born in South Orange, New Jersey, was selected by the Milwaukee Brewers out of Seton Hall. And I found out searching the internet today that he spends his off-season as a senior instructor at the Frozen Ropes Training Center in Union, New Jersey. His profile there says that he attended Seton Hall Prep, where he led the team to a 30-1 record and a state championship, picking up numerous all-state, all-county, and all-area selections along the way, and he was named one of the best pitching prospects in New Jersey by Baseball America. Well, Frozen Ropes can thank me later for the free advertising. Joe Benson comes to the plate to lead it off for the Miracle. He'll be followed by Estarlin De Los Santos and Chris Parmalee. Benson batting right-handed. Merklinger winds on the first pitch of the game. Fastball seems to miss down low, and the count is 1-0. Benson has been with the Miracle for only about a week. Next pitch is swung on and fouled back here, got over the backstop net and landed just to the right of us, just below one of the luxury suites. Benson in 43 at-bats, batting .302 for the Miracle. Next pitch by Merklinger. Pops it up in the short infield, and coming over to grab the ball is third baseman Matt Klein for the first out. I thought that ball was going to carry a little bit more, but it didn't, and it really just landed behind the pitcher's mound between shortstop and third base, and coming over to grab the ball was Matt Klein for the first out. So 1 out, and that'll bring up the shortstop Estarlin De Los Santos. Another Miracle. The top 3 players in the Fort Myers lineup were recently reassigned from AA New Britain. They were all considered rather top prospects in the Twins organization. First pitch by Merklinger, down and in, ball 1. De Los Santos showed bunt, but didn't make an attempt to hit the ball. On Baseball America's top 30 prospects list, Benson was number 13, De Los Santos number 23, and on-deck batter Chris Parmalee number 14. But all 3 have been reassigned within the last couple of weeks. Next pitch, fastball down the middle, and the count's 1-1. De Los Santos in 33 at-bats with the Miracle, batting .273. Next pitch swung on and missed, and the count's 1-2. Merklinger ready, and his 1-2 pitch. Fastball seems to have missed down low, and the count's 2-2. De Los Santos of New Britain hit only 170 in 106 at-bats. 2-2 pitch is sliced down the first baseline, curling back into the stands, and the count remains 2-2. Benson, who led off in 105 at-bats at AA New Britain, was hitting only .219. De Los Santos only 170 in 106 at-bats. Swung on and missed for strike 3, and it's the first strikeout of the game for Daniel Merklinger.
Back third of the first baseman, number 27, Chris Parmalee.
So 2 down, and that'll bring up first baseman Chris Parmalee. As we said, he was recently reassigned as well from AA, where he was hitting only 186 in 102 at-bats. But with the Miracle in 10 games, he's hitting .342 with a homer, 9 RBI. Bats left-handed, First pitch by the southpaw Merkingler is a fly ball to right center field. Waiting for it to come down is the right fielder Sanchez. And Daniel Merklinger retires them in order. 1, 2, 3 in the top of the first. It's the Fort Myers Miracle nothing. And the Brevard County Manatees coming to bat against pitcher Liam Hendricks. I knew it was not Eric. Well, if you've listened to some of my webcasts, you know I have a tendency to get a lot of colds and whatnot. And I'm coming off yet another one. So if I'm not at 100% and if I sound a little nasal, that's why. The starting pitcher for Fort Myers tonight is Liam Hendricks, who's out of Perth, Australia. He's 21 years old. He was recently promoted 3 weeks ago to Fort Myers from Low A Beloit, the Beloit Snappers in the Midwest League. That's the same league that the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers are in. That's one level below the Brevard County Manatees. So the players on both teams here have probably faced each other before in the Midwest League when the Manatees players were with Wisconsin and the Twins players were with Beloit. It wasn't that long ago that Beloit was actually a Brewers affiliate, but they switched recently to the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers. Hendricks with Beloit in 6 starts was 2-1 with a 1.32 ERA. In 34 innings, struck out 39 and walked only 4 and did not give up a single home run. In 3 starts with Fort Myers, 2-1, 3.63 ERA, 17 innings, 18 strikeouts, 2 walks, and has still not given up a home run. So with the Manatees having only 4 home runs all year long, none here at Space Coast Stadium, and Hendricks having not given up a single home run at all this year, yeah, you're right. The Manatees will probably hit 5 or 6 stingers tonight. Well, that's the way the game works, but we'll see. All right, Josh Prince leading it off for the Manatees, followed by Matt Klein and Eric Komatsu. Prince batting .268 with 1 homer, 14 RBI, batting right-handed against Hendricks. First pitch. Breaking ball seemed to miss in, and the count's 1-0. Hendricks, 6'1", 190. Right-handed pitcher winds in his 1-0 pitch. Hits the outside corner with an 89-mile-an-hour fastball, and the count's 1-1. 1-1 pitch is a hard grounder up the middle. De Los Santos with a nice grab behind second base and goes on to the first baseman Parmalee for the first out.
And second for the Manatees, he was named the 2010 All-Star Olympic team today. Put your hands together for the third baseman number 3, Matt Klein.
So that'll bring up third baseman Matt Klein, who's batting .333 with no homers, 12 RBI, an on-base percentage of .436. And it was just announced by the PA that Matt Klein has been named to the 2010 Florida State League All-Star team. First pitch by Hendricks, up and in, ball 1. Among Klein's many accomplishments is that he leads the league in being hit by pitches. He's been hit 10 times already this year, and that was almost number 11. 1-0 pitch by Hendricks. Fastball hits the outside corner, and it's 1-1. Klein, number 3 in on-base percentage in the league at .436. His average at .333 is number 6 in the league. 1-1 pitch, inside again, and the count's 2-1. We were expecting to hear the All-Star Game nominations any day now. I'll have to see if I can find that on the internet. Next pitch, fastball misses away, and the count's 3-1. On deck is designated hitter Eric Komatsu. 3-1 pitch. Fastball hits the outside corner, and the count's 3-2. The radar gun here at Space Coast Stadium is mounted on a pole right behind home plate. and it's displayed on the scoreboard out in left field, and that said he hit 90 miles an hour, which is the highest reading he's had so far in the game. 3-2 pitch. Swung on, and it's fouled back here off the top of the press box, and the count remains 3-2. Klein missed all of 2009. He was on the restricted list, and I've never been able to find out exactly why. Restricted list is not necessarily a bad thing. It just means that you didn't play that year for reasons other than an injury. 3-2 pitch is popped up, carrying out into short right center field. The second baseman for the Miracle, Dozier, has it in right center field for the second out.
Batting third for the Manatees, also named to the 2010 Florida State All-Star game earlier today. That's the designated hitter number 8, Eric Komatsu.
So that'll bring up the designated hitter, Eric Komatsu, batting .328, no homers, 21 RBI, and the PA announcer informs us that he has also been named to the Florida State League All-Star team. The All-Star game will be held here on June 12th. First pitch swung on and missed, and the count's 0-1. I'm looking at the Florida State League's website, and I don't see any formal announcement of the next pitch misses down and in, and the count's 1-1. I don't see any announcement of the All-Star game nominations. So we're just going to have to wing that one. Komatsu leads the league in hits. 1-1 pitch, breaking ball, and missed away, and it counts 2-1. Komatsu's 59 hits, top in the Florida State League. He's number 9 in average at .328. Here's a line drive to right center field. Diving for it is the right fielder, Bigley, who catches it for the final out. Gold star for Bigley as he dove on his chest and caught that ball as he belly flopped into the grass for the final out. So the Manatees gone in order in the bottom of the first, and after one inning, the Miracle of the Manatees, no score. Before we move on from Eric Komatsu, as I said, he's number 1 in the league in hits at 59. Number 9 in average at .328. Number 3 in runs scored at 30. And he also happens to lead the league in having the fewest number of strikeouts in ratio to total plate appearances. In other words, he's really good at making contact. Komatsu strikes out only once every 13.47 appearances at the plate. Once again, if you are in the area, it's Thirsty Thursday night, which means that all beer and all soft drinks are only $2 each. And as always, Manatees game's quite affordable. It's only $7 per person, general admission. We have a capacity here of about 7,500 because this is the Washington Nationals spring training stadium. And even though we do average about 1,500 in attendance per game, because the stadium is so large, we always have plenty of room for walk-up customers. To get to Space Coast Stadium, the easiest way to do it is to get to the I-95 freeway. Whether if you're north or south Brevard County, you get on the I-95 and head to Vieira and look for exit 195. So take the I-95 to exit 195. It's also listed as Fisk Boulevard. And when you exit at 195, just follow the signs and you turn south on Fisk Boulevard, it becomes Stadium Parkway, and you go 3 miles to Space Coast Stadium. All right, top of the second, no score for the Miracle. They're 4, 5, 6 hitters.
Leading off the Miracle, the top of the second inning, the designated hitter number 24, Davidson Romero.
It'll be designated hitter Davidson Romero, followed by right fielder Evan Bigley and catcher Chris Herman. Lefty Dan Merklinger into his second inning on the first pitch is popped straight up the chute, carrying over towards the Manatees dugout on the first base side, and it bounces off the concrete concourse, and it narrowly missed a tall gentleman who was standing there covering his head with his arms, and the ball bounced right behind him. I don't think he saw where the ball was coming down. And he was really standing right in front of the runway there. He could have just gone down the ramp and taken shelter. No harm, no foul. Actually, it was a foul. 0-1 pitch. Fastball hits the outside corner. Sean Zaraga frames it for home plate umpire Brandon Henson. And the count's 0-2. Romero batting just .200. We said Fort Myers, like the Manatees, not one of the better hitting teams in the league. Next pitch swung on and missed. And Daniel Merklinger has his second strikeout of the game.
All right, fans, batting in the fifth spot. Tonight's beer batter, the right fielder, number 21, Evan Higley. The beer batter, presented by Bud Light.
So that'll bring up right fielder Evan Bigley, batting .223, no homers, 13 RBI. Batting right-handed against the southpaw Merklinger. The first pitch, fastball misses in, and the count's 1-0. Third baseman Matt Klein jumping up and down, banging his heels together. I'm thinking maybe he's got a little clay caught in his cleats. 1-0 pitch is a pop fly into short right center field. Going out for it is the second baseman Miranda, but coming in to glove it is the right fielder Sanchez for the second out. So 2 down, and that'll bring up the catcher, Chris Herman, who's batting .238 with 1 homer, 11 RBI. We did have rain in the afternoon around 3:45, 4 o'clock, but the field was covered with the tarp at the time. Fastball hits the inside corner, strike 1. It was a strong downpour, but it was brief, and the tarp was removed around 4:45. 0-1 pitch, breaking ball misses away, and the count is 1-1. Right now, there are no clouds in the area that pose any kind of imminent threat. 1-1 pitch inside, and the count's 2-1. Our view here at Space Coast Stadium is looking generally towards the southeast. The bowl gives us a view from straight to the east all the way to the southwest. This pitch is a short fly ball in on the infield, actually, and Matt Klein is there for the final out. So once again, Daniel Merklinger retires the Miracle in order. As we go to the bottom of the second, we're still looking for our first base runner in the game. No score between the Miracle and the Manatees. Talking about the weather, our view here with the bowl, looking from the east to the southwest, we can see some clouds to the southwest, but when I checked weather.com before the game and looked at the radar, the wind blowing to the northeast to the southwest would suggest that those clouds aren't coming anywhere near us. Weather.com predicted about a 25% chance of rain in this area for the next 2 hours, but I don't see anything out there that might be a problem. The forecast suggested around midnight that we might see an increase in clouds and a chance in showers, but we should be long gone by then. Also, as an extra added attraction, we are in the Space Coast, which is the nickname for Brevard County, and it's called the Space Coast because we are in close proximity to Kennedy Space Center and Cape Canaveral Air Force Station. A launch is scheduled for tonight at 11 p.m. from the Air Force Station, Pad 37. A Delta IV rocket is supposed to launch to carrying a global positioning system satellite, a GPS system satellite. It's been scrubbed 3 times already due to various technical problems, but hopefully they go tonight. They have a 19-minute window starting at 11 p.m. If you're interested in following that, you can go to the Florida Today website. That's our local newspaper. It's www.floridatoday.com. I looked at their website just before the game began, and there's a link right there on the homepage where you can participate in a live online chat with the paper's space reporter James Dean. and he's blogging live from the press area at Kennedy Space Center, where he's observing what's going on with the launch. So if you want to keep one eye on that while you stay with the game, go to FloridaToday.com. All right, bottom of the second, Kentrell Davis leading it off for the Manatees against Liam Hendricks. And the first pitch is fouled along the third base side, and it curls out of the stadium 0-1. Kentrell batting .231, still looking for his first professional home run. 16 RBI, bats left-handed. 0-1 pitch, fouled again, back pretty much where that one does. Not quite as much oomph, and it goes down the runway rather than leaving the park, and the count's 0-2. Kentrell was a first-round supplemental pick by the Brewers last year, signed late and made his professional debut with the Manatees here in 2010. Swung on and missed at a breaking ball, and that's the first strikeout for Liam Hendricks.
And fifth to the Manatees, and also named the 2010 Florida State League All-Star team earlier today. That's the second baseman, number 10, Sergio Miranda.
So that'll bring up the number 5 hitter, Sergio Miranda, who we're told also made the All-Star team. He's batting .322, no homers, 33 RBI. Batting left-handed, he's a switch hitter, and the first pitch hits the inside corner with a 92-mile-an-hour fastball. Counts 0-1. Miranda, second in the league in hits, and number 10 in batting average, swings and lines a foul that leaves the stadium on the third base side, and the count's 0-2. We told you Eric Komatsu leads the league in fewest strikeouts per total plate appearance. Well, Sergio Miranda is number 2 at 13.33. 0-2 pitch, breaking ball in the dirt and away, and the count's 1-2. On deck, first baseman Sean Halton. 1-2 pitch by Hendricks, down and in, and the count's 2-2. Well, I think I've butchered the pitcher's name 4 or 5 times. His name is Liam, L-I-A-M, Hendricks, H-E-N-D-R-I-K-S. 2-2 pitch, swung on, he just gets a piece of it, and he lines it off the front of the Miracle dugout on the third base side. The visitors' dugout is on the third base side here, and the home team Manatees dugout on the first base side. Both dugouts have chain link railing in front of them to protect the players. 2-2 pitch is bounced off the plate over the head of Hendricks, who gloves it, goes on to the first baseman Parmalee for the out. Somewhat difficult play for Hendricks. The ball bounced either off the plate or off the dirt right in front of the plate. Took an extremely high hop over the head of Hendricks on the mound. He had to race behind the mound and catch it over his shoulder like a wide receiver, then whirled and threw it on to the first baseman Parmalee for the out. So with 2 down, that'll bring up the first baseman, Sean Halton, batting .258 with no homers, 6 RBI. It's just his 17th game with the Manatees. First pitch by Hendricks, fastball misses away, and the count's 1-0. Halton bats right-handed, and he swings at a curveball that bounces foul down the third baseline past the Manatees manager, Bob Missick, who's coaching at third base, and it rolls down past the tarp. Fort Myers third baseman Nick Romero goes over to get the ball and tosses it in the stands to a young fan. It's very common in the minor leagues that the team's manager typically coaches at third base. 1-1 pitch. Hits the outside corner with a fastball, and the count's 1-2. Fort Myers on the infield, Nick Romero at third. Starlin De Los Santos at short. 1-2 pitch down in the dirt, the count's 2-2. Again, Starlin De Los Santos at short, Brian Dozier at second, and Chris Parmalee at first. 2-2 pitch. Fastball high and away, and the count goes full. The Miracle in the outfield have Jonathan Goncalves in left, Joe Benson in center, and Evan Bigley in right. 3-2 pitch. Fastball misses down and away, and we have the first base runner of the game as Sean Halton draws a 2-out walk.
And 7, the catcher, number 13, Sean Zaraga.
So that'll bring up catcher Sean Zaraga. batting .322, no homers, 8 RBI. He has a .402 on-base percentage, having drawn 35 walks compared to 90 at-bats. Batting left-handed against Hendricks. First pitch. Hits the outside corner with a 91-mile-an-hour fastball, and the count's 0-1. Halton at first, 0 for 1 in stolen bases. Taking a modest lead, being held on by Parmalee. Hendricks working from the stretch, and the 0-1 pitch is down and in, not blocked nicely by the Fort Myers catcher Herman, and the count's 1-1. Hendricks, signed by the Twins shortly after his 18th birthday. Because he's not in North America, he would not have been drafted. He's what's called an undrafted foreign free agent. This is a fastball that misses down and away, and the count's 2-1. His professional debut was with the Twins Rookie A team in the Gulf Coast League. 2-1 pitch. He has a little looper over the head of the third baseman into left field for a base hit. Fielding the ball is Goncalves, who tosses the ball back in. Advancing to second is Halton. And so the Manatees have runners on first and second with 2 down. And now we see the Brevard County debut of left fielder Scott Krieger, reassigned today to the Manatees from AA Huntsville, where he was just 3 for 17. Krieger, drafted by the Brewers in the 19th round last June, began his professional career with the Helena Brewers in the Pioneer League and had some, well, let's say, interesting numbers. First pitch by Hendricks. Fastball just within the box for a strike. I thought it might have been a bit high. Krieger last year, 68 games for Helena, 302 at-bats, 13 home runs, 103 strikeouts. That's about one time every 3 at-bats. Swings and hits a hard grounder past missing foul off the tarp, rolled up down the third baseline. Counts 0-2. He hit .253 in the Pioneer League. 13 homers, 16 doubles, 3 triples, 53 RBI in just 68 games. About 103 strikeouts in 277 at-bats, 302 plate appearances. I should clarify that. Plate appearances includes things like bases on balls and being hit by pitch. Next pitch swung on and missed, and a fastball that tailed away. And Scott Krieger has his first Manatees strikeout. No runs, a hit, a walk, and 2 left. After 2 here at Space Coast Stadium, it's the Fort Myers Miracle nothing and the Brevard County Manatees nothing. I want to tell you a little bit more about Liam Hendricks. I've been trying to work that in. I'm reading from the website baseballreference.com, which is an excellent, as it says, baseball reference. It's baseball-reference.com. And they said that Hendricks made his professional debut in 2007 with the Gulf Coast League Twins. Many major league organizations have their spring training complexes here in Florida, as we are playing in the Washington Nationals spring training complex here, and they have a team in the Rookie A Gulf Coast League. The Nationals will start play in that league in the later half of June, as will the Twins affiliate. In 2007, with the Gulf Coast League Twins, Hendricks is 4-2 with a 2.05 ERA in 10 games, 44 innings, 52 strikeouts, 11 walks. Then he missed all of 2008 with a back injury. In 2009, he split the year between Rookie A Elizabethtown in the Appalachian League, where he was 3.71 in 3 starts. And then he moved up to Beloit in 11 starts, where he was 3-5 with a 3.51 ERA. He also pitched for the Australian national team in the 2009 World Baseball Classic. He was the youngest Australian player ever to appear in the Classic. He tossed 1 1/3 scoreless innings in a 17-7 win over Mexico. So Liam Hendricks, one of quite a few Aussies to find their way to professional baseball in the United States. Top of the third, no score between the Miracle and the Manatees. Fort Myers still looking for their first base runner. It'll be the bottom three, Brian Dozier, followed by Nick Romero and Jonathan Goncalves. First pitch by Daniel Merklinger, high and away, and it counts 1-0. Dozier, another player recently arriving here with Fort Myers, but he wasn't demoted from Double-A. He was actually promoted from Beloit. 1-0 pitch is up and in, and it counts 2-0. Dozier in 151 at-bats with Beloit, 278 with a 347 on-base percentage and a 338 slugging percentage. 2-0 pitch. It's the inside corner with a fastball, and the count's 2-1. This is just his sixth game with Fort Myers. He's 8 for 19, no homers, 5 RBI. 2-1 pitch by Merklinger. Dozier shows a bunt, pops it in the air, foul back behind the Fort Myers dugout on the third base side, and the count's 2-2. On deck, third baseman Nick Romero. Center fielder Kentrell Davis playing quite a bit the opposite way in center field. This pitch swung on. It's a line drive foul down the right field line up into the aluminum bleachers down the right field line, and the count is still 2-2. Next pitch by Merklinger. It's a line drive foul down the third baseline right past the Miracles manager, Jake Maurer, coaching at third. The Miracle have a rather interesting pedigree in their coaching staff. In addition to Jake Maurer, who's the brother of Twin superstar catcher Joe Maurer, their hitting coach is Jim Dwyer. Next pitch by Merklinger, up at his nose, and that makes the count 3-2. Dwyer is rather well known in the 70s and the 80s as a role player, most famously with the Baltimore Orioles as a DH, a pinch hitter, and a defensive replacement. 3-2 pitch, up and in again, and Dozier walks. That's the first walk for Merklinger and the first base runner for the Miracle. So with one down, that brings up third baseman Nick Romero, batting just .210 with a homer, 14 RBI. Nick Romero and the designated hitter Davison Romero, no relation to one another. Davison from the Dominican Republic, Nick Romero from Chula Vista, California. First pitch misses, and it counts 1-0. Matt Klein in on the grass at third, and once again he's jumping up and down, bagging his cleats together, which suggests that he's getting clay caught in the cleats. And maybe they watered down the infield a bit too much before the game. Next pitch is high and away. Merklinger is starting to lose his control. We've seen lately he's left quite a few pitches up, and catcher Sean Zaraga calls time to go out to talk to Merklinger. Here comes the Manatees interim pitching coach, Steve Klein. Fred Dabney, who began the year as the Manatees pitching coach, left shortly after the season began to become the emergency bullpen coach for the Brewers in Milwaukee because the regular bullpen coach went out for surgery. I'm told that Dabney is back today, but Klein is still here as well, and I'm sure they'll go through a transition, and eventually you'll see Fred Dabney take over again. Dozier at first, 0 for 1 in stolen bases, has a very small lead right now, maybe just a couple of steps, being held on by Halton. 2-0 pitch. That hits the outside corner with a fastball, and the count's 2-1. 2-1 pitch. Swung on and missed at a fastball up and away, and the count goes 2-2. Once again, if you want to email me with any questions, comments, or just to let me know you're listening, the email address is home@spacecoastbaseball.com. or you can go to the website at www.spacecoastbaseball.com, and there's a link at the top where you can email me. 2-2 pitch, swung on and missed on a fastball, and that's strikeout number 3 for Daniel Merklinger. So with 2 down, that'll bring up the number 9 hitter, Jonathan Goncalves. The spelling of his first name on the Manatees roster, J-H-O-N-A-T-H-A-M. That's on the Miracle roster, of course. Goncalves, G-O-N-C-A-L-V-A-E-S. Pickoff throw and Dozier back standing. Goncalves batting .243, just 9 for 37, no homers, 3 RBI. First pitch fastball hits the outside corner and the count's 0-1. Kentrell Davis again playing the opposite way in right center field. There goes the runner. Pitch is taken for a ball. No throw down to second by Zaraga. And it's a stolen base for Brian Dozier. I'm not sure why Zaraga didn't even make an attempt. Maybe he just felt that Dozier had such a big lead it wasn't worth the effort. So now we'll watch second baseman Sergio Miranda and Josh Prince, the shortstop, try to deke Dozier into staying close to second base. In fact, Miranda's deking right now. Next pitch is inside and the count's 2-1. When I say he's trying to deke the runner, what happens is you'll have one of the infielders come in behind the base runner at second base and bang his glove, trying to distract the runner, thinking maybe there's going to be a pickoff play. 2-1 pitch. Was it fouled back? No. Well, that's an odd call. It looked at first that the pitch might have hit the knob of the bat. And in fact, here comes manager Bob Missick to ask about it. The umpire apparently concluded that the ball bounced off of Zaraga's glove and rolled away. The runner on second, Dozier, advanced to third on the play. But I'm sure that Missick is saying, hey, look, it looked to me like the ball hit the knob of the bat and ricocheted foul, which would have made it a dead ball, of course, and the runner goes back to second. Now, the home plate umpire, of course, can ask for help from the infield umpire, but he's not going to in this case. So in any case, Dozier advances to third. We do not get here an indication on the scoreboard. The scoreboard's too rudimentary to tell us whether or not it's a fastball or a wild pitch. 3-1 pitch is fouled right back in the net, and the count goes to 3-2. So I'm going to rule that a pass ball, but don't take me as the official ruling. You can go to the Minor League Baseball website at www.milb.com, and under scoreboard on the menu bar, you can select the Florida State League, and you'll see after the game what the official ruling is. There's a high fly ball at deep left center field carrying to the warning track to the wall and gone. It's a 2-run home run for Jonathan Goncalves. A rare home run at Space Coast Stadium. And the Miracle take a 2-0 lead.
The center fielder, number 44, Joe Benson.
For Goncalves, that's his first home run of the year. Scoring ahead of him is Dozier. And Fort Myers takes the lead 2-0. We go back to the top of the lineup now for Joe Benson. First pitch is a fastball, and the count's 0-1. Dozier popped out to Matt Klein at third to lead off the game. Next pitch is taken for a strike, and the count's 0-2. 0-2 pitch by Merklinger. Blocked nicely by Zaraga in the dirt, and the count's 1-2. Well, that's the first home run that we've seen here in any of the webcasts, because this stadium is pretty unforgiving when it comes to the long ball. The 1-2 pitch hangs a breaking ball away, and the count goes 2-2. 2-2 pitch is a pop fly over to short right field, curling into foul territory, and grabbing it on the warning track is Juan Sanchez for the final out. I'm sorry, that's not the final out. Boy, I'm just not with it tonight, am I? So it's a foul out by Benson, and with 2 down, that'll bring up the shortstop as Starlin De Los Santos, who struck out for the second out of the first inning. As I said, I'm recovering from yet another cold, so I apologize. I'm really hyped up on the antihistamine right now. First pitch by Merklinger. It's going to be a line drive into left field for a base hit. The ball dies on the grass. Perhaps the grass is still a little wet from the rain earlier. Fielding the ball in left field is Krieger, who gets the throw back in to Miranda at second, holding on De Los Santos with a 2-out single. And that'll bring up the first baseman, Chris Parmalee, who flied out to right to end the first inning. Parmalee ranked the Twins number 14 prospect by Baseball America. There's a toss over to first, and back standing is De Los Santos, who's being held on by Halton. Next pitch is a fastball, hits the outside corner, and it's 0-1. De Los Santos took off and then stopped. Zaraga came out of his crouch and got ready to throw, but De Los Santos came to a stop. 0-1 pitch, swung on it. It's a hard grounder past Miranda in the right center field for a base hit. Rounding second, heading for third is De Los Santos. He'll make it standing as Cantrell Davis gets the throw back into Josh Prince covering second base. So Parmalee has a 2-out single that moves De Los Santos to third. And with 2 out, that'll bring up the designated hitter Davison Romero, who struck out to lead off the second. Daniel Merklinger was off to such a good start, and then it all came apart for him here in the third. Dozier walked to lead off, stole second, moved to third on a passed ball. There's a less than average pickoff throw to first. Daniel took a quick step off of the rubber, tossed over to first, and he bounced the ball maybe a good 20 feet in front of first base, but Halton caught it. There's another pickoff throw to first, much better this time, and diving back in is Parmalee. You got to be a little careful with that, though, because you do have De Los Santos on third, even though it's 2 outs. But he might just decide to take off for home. Fastball framed by Zaraga, but the home plate umpire won't give it to him, and the count is 1-0. As we said, leadoff hitter Dozier walked, stole second, advanced to third on a passed ball, and then after Nick Romero struck out, Jonathan Goncalves hit a 2-run home run. There's a breaking ball down and in, and the count's 2-0. Then after Benson fouled out to right, De Los Santos singled, and he advanced to third on the single by Parmalee. Catcher Sean Zaraga calls time and goes out to talk to Merklinger again. We cannot see the Manatees bullpen here at Space Coast Stadium. It's down behind the stands along the right field line to the right of the foul pole, and it's totally hidden. We cannot see it. So if anyone's warming up, we can't see him. There's another pickoff throw to first. De Los Santos down at third took a few steps towards home. He was ready to take off if Merklinger bounces another one of those pickoff attempts. 2-0 pitch. Breaking ball hits the inside corner, and the count's 2-1. The visitors' bullpen is out behind the left field fence, and it's submerged just a little bit so that you can see there's a slow breaking ball hits the inside corner, and the count's 2-2. You can see if there's somebody throwing in the visiting bullpen, but you can't really see who. You can just see that their head and shoulders. 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball down and in, blocked by Zaraga, but advancing to second on the throw is Parmalee. And we're going to call that a wild pitch for Daniel Merklinger. And as I said, Daniel had such a good, strong start to the game, but it's coming apart for him here in the third. 3-2 pitch. Breaking ball high, and that'll walk Davidson Romero, putting him on first. Harmony remains at second, De Los Santos at third. The bases are loaded with 2 outs for Evan Bigley. Came into the game batting .223, no homers, 13 RBI. He popped out to short right field, his first time up. First pitch is fouled back into the net, and the count is 0-1. There are 2 major works out there that I commonly rely on to find out more information about these players. One is the Prospect Handbook, published annually by Baseball America, and the other one is published by an independent analyst named John Sickles called the Baseball Prospect Book. 0-1 pitch is a bouncer, slow roller down towards the visitor's dugout on the third base side. It counts 0-2. And here's what John Sickles had to write about Daniel Merklinger. He said that Daniel has an 88 to 92 mile-an-hour fastball and a decent curve, but has had problems with his changeup and his overall command. His strikeout to innings pitched ratio has consistently been very strong, but his walk rates have been too high. That pitch misses and the counts 1-2. Says the Brewers have kept him on a tight leash in terms of workload. He pitched poorly in 2008 and fell off the prospect radar, but he fought his way back in 2009 with a solid performance in the Midwest and Florida State Leagues. 1-2 pitch. Bounced on a hop back to Merklinger, who knocks it down, picks it up, tosses it over to Halton for the final out. That ball was hit fairly hard on one hard bounce back to Daniel. He knocked it down, kept it in front of him, kept his wits about him, picked it up and tossed it over to Halton for the final out. So thanks to the home run by Jonathan Goncalves, 2 runs for the Miracle. 3 hits. 2 walks. And the bases were left loaded. We go to the bottom of the third. The Miracle lead the Manatees by a score of 2-0. As I mentioned at the beginning of the broadcast, the Manatees do not have a radio contract here in 2010. So SpaceCoastBaseball.com has volunteered to call the game 15 home games for free here in 2010. And because this is a strictly volunteer effort, we ask that if you enjoy the webcast and you enjoy the other content on SpaceCoastBaseball.com, that you can consider supporting the website by making either a one-time donation or signing up for a $5 voluntary monthly subscription. For more information on how to help us, SpaceCoastBaseball.com, you can go to the website on the homepage at www.SpaceCoastBaseball.com, and you'll see a link there at the top of the homepage, and we'll tell you how you can help. The cost of getting incurred in doing this, of course, I've got to use the laptop and I've got all the broadcasting equipment, but as you'll see, I come out here not just for the Manatees, but all other baseball on the Space Coast. The college teams, Brevard Community College and Florida Tech. We have a new semi-pro team, which I'll tell you about in a little bit, called the Space Coast Rockets. I'll be out during the summer for the Gulf Coast League Nationals with camera equipment and doing video and still photos that'll be available on the website for you to watch and look at. So all that adds up, and any money that you can send our way to help that go will be greatly appreciated. All right, bottom of the third, 2-0 Fort Myers. First pitch by Liam Hendricks to Juan Sanchez is taken for a strike. Sanchez just returned from Double-A Huntsville. 0-1 pitch, breaking ball misses away, and the count's 1-1. Sanchez batting .239 here in the Florida State League. No homers, 7 RBI. Next pitch, fastball sliced over here on the first base side, and the count goes to 1-2. Huntsville, Alabama, the next step up in the Brewers minor league chain. And one thing that Huntsville and Brevard County have in common is that they're both critical space setters in the NASA structure. This pitch is fouled over towards the Fort Myers dugout, and the count remains 1-2. Of course, we launch the rockets here. Huntsville is where the engines get tested. Breaking ball is fly ball into center field, curling over into right center field, and coming after it is the center fielder Benson. And Sanchez is gone for the second out. So we go back to the top of the lineup for shortstop Josh Prince, who grounded out to short to lead off the bottom of the first. So, for example, talking about Huntsville versus Brevard County, of course, we launched the space shuttle here, but the white solid rocket boosters that you see on either side are tested out there in Huntsville. First pitch to Josh is a fastball high, and it counts 1-0. Most engines and most rockets will be tested in Huntsville. 1-0 pitch is a hard grounder, a couple of hops down to De Los Santos, long throw over to the first baseman Parmalee for the second out. So with two down, that'll bring up third baseman Matt Klein, who popped out to second his first time up. And as we learned as he was announced his first time up, Matt Klein has been named to the Florida State League All-Star game. Matt came in batting .333. First pitch to Matt is a bouncer and a hop down to the third baseman Nick Romero, who goes on to the first baseman Parmalee for the out. So an atypical early exit for Matt Klein, and the Manatees gone in order here in the third. After 3, Fort Myers 2, Brevard County nothing. I mentioned at the last break that SpaceCoastBaseball.com covers professional and amateur baseball here in Brevard County. And one of the new operations we're covering is a semi-pro team called the Space Coast Rockets that play out of Coco Expo Stadium. Coco Expo began life as Coco Colt Stadium. It was the spring training home for the Houston Colt 45s, who later became the Astros, and there's another space connection for Brevard County. It was the spring training home for the Astros from 1964 through, I think, 1983, 84, somewhere in there. The facility still stands, and actually it was the Florida Marlins facility their first year in 1993. Now it's used mostly for amateur tournaments and the occasional professional or semi-pro operation. But the Space Coast Rockets are a rather unique operation because they're part of what's called the National Extreme Baseball League. The National Extreme Baseball League has been around for a couple of years in various formats. The basic concept behind it is that they add a second set of bases on the infield. In addition to the traditional white bases you run counterclockwise, there are orange bases right next to them, and you run those clockwise. And so what happens is, when the game begins or when an inning begins, the first batter of the inning goes to the white bases running the traditional counterclockwise. The next batter must run clockwise to the orange bases, and they alternate throughout the game. More on that in just a moment. Top of the fourth, Chris Herman leads it off for the Miracle, followed by Brian Dozier and Nick Romero. First pitch by Merklinger, fastball away, and the count's 1-0. Herman popped out to Matt Klein at third and the second. Next pitch by Daniel. It's a hard grounder on one hop down to Halton behind the bag at first. He takes it to the bag himself for the first out.
The second baseman,
So with one out, that'll bring up second baseman Brian Dozier, who walked his last time up, stole second, advanced to third on a passed ball, and scored on the home run by Goncalves. Merklinger's first pitch is popped up on the infield, over towards first in foul territory. Sean Halton has it for the second out. So the first two batters go down quickly here in the top of the fourth. And that'll bring up third baseman Nick Romero, who struck out his last time up. Anyway, talking about the National Extreme Baseball League, the Rockets, which were one of 4 teams here in Florida in that league, began play a couple of weeks ago. Fastball taken for a strike and the count's 0-1. And if you go to spacecoastbaseball.com on the homepage, look under the left column in videos. Fastball misses away and the count's 1-1. And you'll see several clips that I filmed during that game, one of which is a highlight reel. You'll also see interviews with the manager and the starting pitcher. Fastball misses down and away and it counts 2-1. A local TV station, WBCC, used some of the Space Coast Baseball video footage for a report they did on the Rockets. And you can see that too there on spacecoastbaseball.com. Swung on and missed at an off-speed pitch and the count's 2-2. But it was absolutely fascinating to watch runners on 2 sets of bases, one going counterclockwise, the other going clockwise. There's a breaking ball and misses down low, and the count goes full 3-2. So, for example, around second base, you would see one runner on the white base heading towards third, and one runner on the orange base heading towards what we consider to be first. 3-2 pitch is a fly ball hit to right field, giving ground on is Juan Sanchez at the warning track, backhands it for the final out.
All right, man, it's time to get on your feet and let's see how loud you can sing. It's Living on a Prayer.
So the Miracle go down in order against Daniel Merklinger here in the top of the fourth. We go to the bottom of the fourth. The Miracle lead the Manatees by a score of 2-0. So anyway, telling you more about the National Extreme Baseball League, this format with the 2 sets of bases is called Double Diamond Baseball. And, you know, I'm a baseball purist. I hate the DH. I hate AstroTurf. I believe in balanced schedules and all of that. But I got to tell you, I really loved watching this format because I saw things I never saw before. And more importantly, what it does is it really ratchets up the mental side of the game. Because first, a batter has to remember, okay, on this at bat, am I going to run to the white base down at first, or am I running to the orange base down at third? And I saw a lot of guys who forgot which way they were supposed to go. And if they go the wrong way, they have to come back to the batter's circle before they can go back to the right base. They can't just cut across the infield. Also, I saw, again, interesting situations where, for example, there was a runner on the white first base and the orange second base. They pull a double steal and they pass each other between first and second. And, of course, the catcher has got to figure out where to throw the ball. I also saw an inside-the-park 3-run home run where you had runners coming in from orange third and white first, opposite sides at nearly the same time. And there's actually a rule in the league that says that you cannot have runners coming from opposite directions encroach on the catcher at the same time, and that's for safety reasons. The only exception is for a home run. All right, Eric Camacho leads it off in the bottom of the fourth here for the Manatees, trailing 2-0. He'll be followed by Contrell Davis and Sergio Miranda. First pitch misses outside, and the count's 1-0. Camacho lined to the right fielder Bigley to end the first inning. Bigley making a diving catch on his chest. 1-0 pitch is sliced foul back into the net behind home plate, and the count's 1-1. So if you watch the video clip, the highlights from that game on spacecoastbaseball.com under the videos column, you'll get to see some of that. If you want to find out more about that league, I'll give you their websites here in just a moment. 1-1 pitch. Fastball down and in, and the count goes 2-1. The league has two websites, one of which is n-xbl.com. So National Extreme Baseball League, NXBL, but there's a hyphen between the N and the X. There's another fastball down low, and the count's 3-1. So n-xbl.com. That's the name of the league. The other one is doublediamondbaseball.com. Double Diamond Baseball being the name of the format played by the league. 3-1 pitch. Fastball hits the outside corner, and the count goes 3-2. Three-two pitch. Slice foul back into the net, and the count remains 3-2. If you're hearing a birthday song in the luxury suite next to us, some children are having a birthday party. All part of the quality entertainment here in the minor leagues. 3-2 pitch by Hendricks. Taken down and away, ball 4, and Komatsu leads off the fourth, bottom of the fourth, with a walk.
The center fielder, number 20, Kentrell Davis.
Komatsu came into the game with a .385 on base percentage, so it's not surprising that he'd take a walk. So that'll bring in Kentrell Davis, who struck out to lead off the bottom of the second. Still trying to get Kentrell his first professional dinger. The wind blowing out to right field, and he does bat left-handed. So nature working in his favor here. First pitch is swung on and slice foul down the left field line over the aluminum overhang and out of the stadium 0-1. The next home game for the Space Coast Rockets is on Saturday, June 5 at Coco Expo. Hendricks calls time, sets off the rubber. The Manatees are also home that night against the Bradenton Marauders, so I'm not going to suggest that you miss the Manatees game. 0-1 pitch taken. Oh, just in the box. 0-2. That looked to me like that was down and in. But the National Extreme Baseball League is a semi-pro operation, and they play only once a week on Saturday nights. It's a 20-game schedule. 0-2 pitch misses away, and the count's 1-2. So each team will have 10 home games and 10 road games. In addition to the Space Coast team, there's one in Orlando, actually playing in Sanford, but they call themselves the Orlando team. There's one in Daytona, and there's a pickoff throw to first, but back standing is Komatsu. There's a team that calls itself the Tampa team, but they are actually playing in Lakeland at Henley Field, which is the home field of Florida Southern College. 1-2 pitch by Hendricks, big breaking ball, strike 3 called, and Kentrell Davis is gone for the second time. Third strikeout for Liam Hendricks. And with one out, that'll bring up second baseman Sergio Miranda. So if you go to n-xbl.com or doublediamondbaseball.com, look up the Space Coast Rockets for their schedule, and of course go to manateesbaseball.com and look up our schedule and try to find a night when the two don't conflict on a Saturday night. Fastball hits the outside corner, 0-1. Miranda bounced back to the mound his first time up. There's another throw to first, and diving back in is Komatsu. Eric, 13 for 13 in stolen bases this year. So if he goes, you can either say, well, his chances are pretty good, or you can say his number's about due, depending on if you're optimist or pessimist. He doesn't go, and the next pitch is line foul down the third base line into the stands, and the count's 0-2. Space Coast Stadium, if you're not familiar with it, is horseshoe-shaped. Again, the spring training home of the Washington Nationals. Quite a bit of foul territory behind home plate and down the foul lines until you get past the dugouts on either side. 0-2 pitch. Fastball misses away, and the count's 1-2. and then the stands on both sides curve back in as they approach the foul poles, and actually as you get within maybe 50 feet of the outfield fence, there's maybe only a couple of feet between the foul pole and the stands. 1-2 pitch is a bouncer down to first. First baseman goes to the shortstop, De Los Santos, back to the first baseman, Parmalee, not in time. So Komatsu is erased 3-6. Miranda reaches on the fielder's choice. And with 2 out, that'll bring up the first baseman, Sean Halton, who walked his first time up. Halton, like so many of the Manatees, looking for his first home run of the year, takes a fastball for strike 1. Halton was demoted from Double-A. I'm sorry, not Halton. Strike that. Halton was promoted from Beloit. Big breaking ball that he bounces off of his foot, and the count's 0-2. Komatsu takes his lead off first, 2 down. Manatees trying to get back in the game. They're down 2-0 here in the bottom of the 4th. There's a big breaking ball swung on and missed, dropped by the catcher, Herman, who tags Halton before he can get very far down the first baseline. And that's it for the Manatees in the bottom of the 2nd. No runs, no hits, a walk, and 1 left. After 4, it's the Miracle 2 and the Manatees nothing. I don't want to slight Sean Halton, so let me get his Beloit numbers before he came up this year. And again, it wasn't Beloit, it was Wisconsin. Boy, I'm just not with it tonight. Beloit used to be the Milwaukee Brewers Midwest League affiliate for a number of years, and then after 2008, they switched affiliations to the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers, and Beloit went with the Minnesota Twins. And with Beloit being the step below Fort Myers in the Twins system, and Wisconsin being the step below Brevard County in the Brewers system, my brain is kind of a little fuzzed because I'm so used to seeing it the other way around. Anyway, Halton with Wisconsin this year was 221, 19 for 86 with no homers, 11 RBI. And then he moved up after his May 5th game with the Timber Rattlers. Well, it's almost sunset here in the Space Coast at 8:15 p.m. Once again, a reminder that we have an unmanned rocket launch that's scheduled for Cape Canaveral Air Force Station, a 19-minute window beginning at 11 p.m. Eastern Time. If you were here in the Space Coast, from Space Coast Stadium, you would look towards the northeast, and the launch pad's roughly about 20 miles away, and of course it's going to take off and curl away from us out over the ocean and eventually into space where it will place a global positioning satellite. All right, top of the 5th, first pitch by Merklinger. It's a bunt up the first baseline, taken fair, and tagging the bag is Halton. That was a bunt attempt by Goncalves, who homered his last time up, hit a 2-run dinger in the top of the 3rd that scored Dozier and gave the Miracle the only runs of the game, and yet he comes up here this first time with the element of surprise, trying to roll a butt, but went right up the line to Sean Halton, who said, "Come to Papa," and he tagged the bag for the out. All right, top of the lineup, and center fielder Joe Benson. First pitch by Merklinger, down and away, and the count is 1-0. Next pitch by Daniel, up and in, and the count's 2-0. Benson, number 13 prospect in the Twins system, according to Baseball America, and was ranked number 2 in 2008. 2-0 pitch down and away, and it counts 3-0. Here's what BA has to say in their 2010 Prospect Handbook. It says Benson still has the potential for 5+ tools. His problem remains staying healthy. He had a fractured vertebra in 2008, then missed 2 months last year when he broke his right hand punching a wall. Takes ball 4 there. 1 out walked Benson, and that'll bring up
The shortstop, number 15, is
Starlin de los Santos. BA says that Benson has improved his hitting ability, trusting his quick hands and waiting on pitches more often. And that he set a career high. He nearly set a career high in walks last season. De los Santos, now at the plate, number 23 on the BA list, the top 30 Twins prospects. Benson takes his lead off first. First pitch by Merklinger. Fastball high, and again Zaraga calling time. We've seen that when Merklinger gets off in his mechanics, he tends to be missing high, and Sean Zaraga has been very aggressive about going out to the mound and telling Merklinger, hey, this is what's going on. This is only Benson's 11th game since he returned to Fort Myers this year. He has 2 stolen bases in 2 attempts. Last year with Fort Myers in 80 games, Benson had 14 stolen bases. There's another token toss over to first, and Benson back standing. Being held on by Halton. There's another more serious throw, but Benson had only taken a couple of steps away from the bag. And yet another toss over to first. De los Santos at the plate, Baseball America ranking him number 23 in the Twins system. In their prospect handbook, it says that as Starlin has battled injuries over the last 2 seasons, there goes Benson. The pitch is up and in. The throw, not in time. And it's the 3rd stolen base in the Florida State League this year for Joe Benson. Pitch was up and in to De los Santos, and he ducked away from it. The throw by Zaraga was over to the second base side, sailing a bit away from the shortstop Prince. But I think Benson pretty much had it anyway. Count 2-0. Merklinger's pitch. Fastball up and in, and the count goes 3-0. Baseball America De los Santos says an elbow injury that didn't require surgery sidelined him until June in 2008, and a stress fracture in his leg kept him out of the lineup for 2 months in 2009. 3-0 pitch. Fastball hits the outside corner, and the count's 3-1. The leg injury cost him speed and upside, and he now projects more as a bottom-of-the-lineup hitter rather than a table-setting leadoff hitter. Tonight's lineup, he's in the number 2 hole. 3-1 pitch by Merklinger. Misses away, ball 4. And that's the second walk of the inning by Merklinger. Benson remains at second, and that'll bring up the first baseman,
number 27,
Chris Parmalee. Wrapping up on what Baseball America says about De los Santos, it says he lacks the patience for the leadoff spot, but he does have a quick bat and a line drive swing, and he's still an above-average runner with the range, hands, and plus arm to play shortstop at the big league level. Manatees interim pitching coach Steve Klein out to the mound to talk to Daniel Merklinger and catcher Sean Zaraga. And we'll take advantage of the break to tell you what Baseball America says about the hitter at the plate, Chris Parmalee, who's ranked number 14 in a Twins system this year. We said Joe Benson is ranked number 13. Baseball America wrote that Parmalee and Benson have been linked since the Twins drafted them in the first 2 rounds of the 2006 draft. Parmalee was drafted in the first round, number 20 overall, and received a $1.5 million bonus. Benson went in the second round. Baseball America says that Parmalee is an atypical Twins prospect in that he's not well-rounded, and most of his value is tied up in his bat. He had his best season as a pro last year, considering he was coming off a broken left wrist and moved up to the pitcher-friendly Florida State League. Okay, we're ready to face Chris Parmalee, the first pitch by Merklinger. Fastball away, and it counts 1-0. Benson on second, De Los Santos on first, 1 out. Miracle trying to expand on a 2-0 lead over the Manatees. Left-hander to left-hander. The next pitch by Merklinger is a breaking ball that bends back in on the inside corner that counts 1-1. Parmalee leaned away, but the ball bent back in and caught the inside corner. Nice pitch by Dan. Good speed on the base paths. If one goes up the alley, they could score 2 runs. This one is swung on. It snaps his bat in half, and the ball rolls maybe 20 feet away from the batter's circle, foul on the third base side. Parmalee is left about maybe 8 inches of what's left of his bat and goes over to get another. Well, he was definitely sawed off there. He had about maybe 1/5 of the bat left in his hands. Getting back to what Baseball America says about Chris Parmalee, it says he has strength and has worked hard to shorten his swing and make more contact. He can hit home runs to all fields and has done a better job of using the opposite field. 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball low and away, and it counts 2-2. On deck is the cleanup hitter, Davidson Romero. Benson off of second, De Los Santos off of first. And Merklinger steps off the rubber. Wind continues to blow out towards right field. And Parmalee, being a power hitter batting from the left side, that only aids him. 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball misses down and away, and the count goes full, 3-2. So we'll see if the runners are going with 1 out. 3-2 pitch. Strike 3 called. Fastball on the outside corner. And Chris Parmalee becomes the 4th strikeout victim for Daniel Merklinger. So with 2 outs, that'll bring up the designated hitter, Davidson Romero. And again, he spells his first name Deidinson. Batting right-handed. He struck out and walked. Time called by the infield umpire. In advanced A-ball in the minor leagues, they only have 2 umpires, a home plate umpire and then a second umpire who works the infield. First pitch by Daniel, breaking ball, cuts across the plate for a strike, 0-1. The infield umpire will move around based on the circumstances. Right now, with runners on first and second and 2 down, he is roughly half between the pitcher and the shortstop on the infield grass. Fastball swung on and missed. It was up at the letters, and the count's 0-2. Daniel's velocity seems to be basically in the high 80s, and the radar gun here usually is pretty accurate, although every once in a while it gives us an anomalous reading where it says you're throwing about 60. 0-2 pitch by Merklinger is blocked by Zaraga down in the dirt, and the count's 1-2. Once again, Cantrell Davis way over in right center field. He has the speed to play shallow. That's 404 to dead center. 340 down the lines. The alleys here are not marked, but they certainly are very deep. 1-2 pitch, swung on and missed, strike 3. So Merklinger gets himself in trouble with back-to-back walks, but strikes out the second and third batters to get out of the innings. No runs, no hits, 2 walks, and 2 left. We go to the bottom of the 5th after 4.5 innings. It's the Miracle 2, the Manatees nothing. Well, the Manatees so far have had only 1 hit. That was a single in the second inning by Sean Zaraga, who will be leading off the bottom of the 5th here, followed by newly arrived Scott Krieger and right fielder Juan Sanchez, the 7, 8, 9 batters in the lineup. We've talked about that 3 Manatees have been named to the Florida State League's North Division All-Star roster for the All-Star game that will be here on June 12th. Those are Matt Klein, Eric Komatsu, and Sergio Miranda. If you want to attend the All-Star game, tickets are $8 a piece. You can call the ticket office here at area code 321-633-9200 to get your All-Star game tickets. Again, that's area code 321-633-9200. Start time of that game is going to be a little later than normal, 7:30, because of all the events going on. That's actually a 2-day event. There will be a banquet the night before, and then there's going to be an autograph session at the Brevard Zoo around lunchtime on Saturday the 12th. I'll be back with you in just a moment. As I said, I've been nursing a cold, and my voice just gave out. Sorry about that. In any case, there'll be a home run derby. I think it starts at 6:30 on Saturday the 12th. And then the game itself starts at 7:30. All right, first pitch to Sean Zaraga. Hits the outside corner with a fastball. The count's 0-1. Zaraga has the only Manatees hit tonight, and there's number 2, a little looper into left center field for a base hit. Both his hits have been rather similar, where he just reached out and poked it the opposite way, little loopers into left center field. So Zaraga on first with a leadoff single, and that'll bring up Scott Krieger, just reassigned today to the Manatees from AA Huntsville, and he struck out to end the second. As we said, he struck out once nearly every 3 plate appearances with Helena last year. There's a fastball misses down and away, and the count's 1-0. Zaraga at first, 2 for 2 in stolen bases. He's a catcher, but he does run occasionally. Taking a modest lead, and the 1-0 pitch swung on and missed. Hendricks took a little bit off of that. The radar shows it was only 85. But sometimes indicates that maybe he's throwing a 2-seamer instead of a 4-seamer. But 2-seamers usually will cut and dive. This one stayed up in his eyes. The 1-1 pitch swung on and missed. Fastball, and the count's 1-2. On deck is right fielder Juan Sanchez. Hendricks' 1-2 pitch as a bouncer fouled down past Bob Missick, coaching down at third. It's backhanded by the Miracles' third baseman, Nick Romero, who flips it into the stands. Count remains 1-2. If you've never been to a minor league all-star game, I have to tell you it's a very special experience. Not only will you see the best players in the league, but I guarantee you're going to see future major leaguers. And I've been to 3 in my life. 1-2 pitch is a bouncer over the head of Hendricks down to the second baseman, who touches the bag at second himself on to first. And did he get the runner? Yes, he did. Not the runner at first, but he did get the runner at second. So the Fort Myers second baseman, Dozier, took the ball himself to the bag at second to force Zaraga. And Krieger is on first with the fielder's choice, and that'll bring up the number 9 hitter, Juan Sanchez, who flied out to center his first time up. But as I was saying, I've been to 3 all-star games in the minor leagues. Shows a bunt. It's right out in front of the plate. Up the line on third base is Hendricks feeling the ball. The throw not in time over to first. And Sanchez beats it out for a bunt single. Advancing to second is Scott Krieger. But I have seen all-star games in the minors at advanced A. That would be in the California League, which is the same level here as the Florida State League. And a couple of those players were in the big leagues the next season. Some of them 2 to 3 years later. So it's an opportunity for you to come here and see some future big leaguers get their autographs, either on a souvenir game program or if you want to track down their baseball cards. Top of the lineup for Josh Prince, who's grounded out to short his first 2 times up. Zaraga off second, Sanchez off first, and the first pitch by Hendricks is down and in, ball 1. Manatees trail the Miracle 2-0, but trying to work a miracle of their own here in the bottom of the 5th with runners on first and second. And 1 out. Krieger on second, Sanchez on first. Hendricks working from the stretch in the 1-0 pitch. Checks his swing and didn't go around, and the count's 2-0. But if you want to get autographs at the All-Star game, one thing I suggest you think about is go to a sporting goods store, buy a box of Major League Baseballs, and get yourself a black Sharpie, and bring that and get those signed. 2-0 pitch. There's a fly ball to straightaway right field. Bigley has it for the out. Tagging up and advancing to third is Krieger. The throw is offline. And advancing to third is Scott Krieger. Quite a gun shown by the right fielder, Evan Bigley. I thought he was just going to go to second because really Krieger's run is not as important as Sanchez. Krieger just reduces the deficit down to 2-1. Sanchez ties it at 2-2. So I pretty much assumed that Bigley was going to throw it into second to keep Sanchez on first, but instead he threw it to third, and if the throw had been on the money, he had a chance at Krieger, but the throw was offline. So 2 down, and that brings up third baseman Matt Klein, who's 0 for 2, popped out to second and grounded out to third. One of 3 Manatees named to that All-Star game. First pitch to Prince. Fastball taken for a strike, 0-1. Klein, number 6 in batting average in the league coming into the game at .333, and number 3 in on-base percentage. 0-1 pitch, breaking ball, swung on and missed. It was up in his eyes, and the count's 0-2. Krieger on third, Sanchez on first, 2 down, bottom of the 5th. Manatees trail 2-0, trying to break a 7-game losing streak. Hendricks comes set. 0-2 pitch to Klein, swung on and missed, strike 3. Got him on a breaking ball down on the dirt.
All right, man, it's time to let the dog out.
So that's strikeout number 5 for Liam Hendricks. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, 2 left. And after 5, it's the Miracles 2 and the Manatees nothing. Well, it's time for the traditional bottom of the 5th Who Let the Dogs Out promotion, where the Manatees let kids and adults line up behind the gate out in left center field, just to the left of the 404 sign in center field. And on nights when we have only a few, they route them all over to the gate beyond the visitor dugout on the third base side. Tonight, they're routing them to gates on both sides, third base and first base. There are gates beyond both dugouts. It's usually mostly children, but you will see some parents out there, some adults. And inevitably, there's always a couple of stragglers. And in this case, I see one man out there carrying a little baby boy who looks to be about maybe a year and a half. You can draw conclusions for yourself on the wisdom of that. But I've mentioned this before, nothing tops what I saw last year in a playoff game where a man, rather overweight man, carrying 2 beers, one in each hand. And I don't think those were his first 2 beers of the night either. He was definitely the last guy off the field, and let's just say I don't think he was feeling any pain, and it took quite a while to get him off. So it's always an adventure, and we saw a game earlier this year where the mascot for the Manatees, Manny the Manatee, tripped over a little child and fell flat on his snout. But he was okay. The little child just kept on going. Daniel Remlinger is done for the night. Daniel Merklinger. It's been that kind of night for me. So Merklinger is done. 2 runs, 3 hits on the night. He struck out 5, including the last 2 batters he faced. And he walked 4. The new pitcher is left-hander Mike Rambo, number 15, winds in his first pitch to Evan Biglia's misses away, ball 1. Next pitch by Rambo is swung on and fouled back this way, just over to the right of the press box, and the count's 1-1. Biglia 0 for 2, popped out to right and grounded out back to the pitcher. Next pitch by Rambo misses away, and the count's 2-1. Mike Ramlo making just his 3rd appearance of the year. He's been on the disabled list most of the season. In 2 relief appearances, 5 1/3 innings, 1 earned run, 6 hits, 6 strikeouts, 1 walk. This one dropped by Zaraga and it rolls away, and the count goes to 3-1. So Fort Myers facing 2 left-handers, first Merklinger and now Ramlo's 3-1 pitch is a fly ball to center field, giving ground as Kentrell Davis is over his head to the warning track, dives for it, and it's going to roll the wall. Around second, heading for third is Bigley. He's going to make it as the throw comes back into Josh Prince, who wheels and throws onto Klein at third, but it's not in time. And it's going to be a leadoff triple for Bigley. Well, we said Kentrell Davis likes to play shallow. That ball was hit over his head in right center field, and the wind is blowing that way. That's a very deep part of the yard. The sign says 404 just to the left of the batter side. This ball was to right center field, and it looks to me if it's not 404 out there, it might actually be a little bit deeper. But Bigley is on third with a leadoff triple, and that'll bring up the catcher, Chris Herman, who's 0 for 2, popped out to third and grounded out to first. Ramlo working from the stretch as Bigley comes down to third, and the first pitch to Herman is called a strike, 0-1. Ramlo's next pitch is a bouncer down to second. The infield was playing in. Miranda looks back to runner to third, goes over to Haltman at first for the first out. Ball was hit really too sharply for Bigley to consider advancing, and with nobody out, why take the risk? They already have a 2-0 lead, and with nobody out, there's simply no point in taking that kind of a risk. So with 1 out and Bigley still at third, that brings up the second baseman, Dozier. First pitch misses 1-0. Dozier walked and scored him the homer by Goncalves and fouled out to first. Ramlo working quickly in the 1-0 pitch. Misses away with a fastball, and the count's 2-0. As we said, Ramlo just off the disabled list. Last year in 2008, he split between the Manatees and West Virginia in the South Atlantic League. 2-0 pitch inside, and the count's 3-0. With West Virginia in 2008, well, he did not split it, pardon me. He had just 2 games last year with the Manatees, probably injured most of the year. 3-0 pitch. This is away, ball 4. So Dozier walks, but runners at the corners with 1 out. So let me get my facts straight. 2009, just 2 games, 5 innings with the Manatees. 2008, he split between West Virginia and Brevard County with the West Virginia Power in the South Atlantic League. 6-3, 2.59 ERA in 90 1/3 innings. And with the Manatees in 2008, first pitch swung on and missed by Romero, 0-1. With the Manatees, 13 2/3 innings in 2008, a 3.29 ERA. Dozier off of first, Bigley off of third. 1 out. Fort Myers trying to extend on a 2-0 lead. Next pitch to Nick Romero, swung on and missed, and the count's 0-2. Romero struck out and flied out to right. Halton at first is holding on the runner, Dozier. Klein over at third is playing a bit deep, not trying to hold on to third base. And this pitch is fouled back here towards the press box. It's going to go up on the roof, and the count remains 0-2. With one out, the middle infielders, Miranda at second and Prince at short, playing deep, hoping that they can get a double play to end the inning. Otherwise, they're going to concede that third run at third. The 0-2 pitch, it's swung on. It's a hard grounder foul back behind the manager for the Miracle, Jake Maurer, down there at third. Jake Maurer is the older brother of Twin superstar catcher Joe Maurer. But he's made a career for himself as a manager within the Minnesota Twins farm system. Ramblin's 0-2 pitch. Inside, and the count is 1-2. But we have a big orange moon tonight just beyond the left field foul pole. I don't think you can call it a harvest moon because we're not in the fall. I don't know what you call an orange moon. Shame on me being in the Space Coast and not knowing the name of that. Fastball misses away and the count goes 2-2. Well, it's 8:45 here, which means we have another 2 hours and 15 minutes until the scheduled launch of a United Launch Alliance rocket over at Cape Canaveral Air Force Station to put a GPS satellite into orbit. 2-2 pitch. Fastball inside, and the count goes full, 3-2. If you want to go to the Florida Today website at www.floridatoday.com, that's a local newspaper. They have reporter James Dean out there at the press stand who's reporting live on what's going on with the countdown. And they have a live chat going on. You can click on that link on the homepage and you can ask James any questions and you can see what's going on. I think they're also streaming live video from the launch pad. 3-2 pitch by Ramlin. There goes the runner at first, and the pitch is fouled back here over the net up on the roof of the press box again. So Dozier was taken off for second, while Bigley, of course, was holding at third. We are the Space Coast, and of course, any launch, man or unmanned, is a big event here. There's a token toss over to first by Ramlo, and back standing is Dozier. The orbiter Atlantis returned to Earth earlier this week. I believe that was on Tuesday, leaving only 2 launches left before the retirement of the Space Shuttle program. 3-2 pitch, swung on and missed. An outside fastball. And Ramlo has his first strikeout of the inning.
The left fielder, number 33, Jonathan Goncalves.
So with 2 out, that'll bring up the number 9 hitter, Jonathan Goncalves, who's pretty much gone to the opposites here in his first 2 at-bats. 2-run homer in the third, and then he tried to bunt his way on in the bottom of the 5th and rolled the ball up the first baseline to Sean Halton. Ramlo's first pitch swung on and missed on an 87-mile-an-hour fastball. The count's 0-1. The Space Shuttle program has been scheduled for retirement for over 6 years now, and we're down to the last 2 launches. Right now, I think they're scheduled for September and November, but those are likely to slip based on what we're hearing. This is fouled back. Gets over the net and curls its way into the stands here just in front of the press box, and about 3 or 4 rows down just to the right of us. So a lot of mixed feelings here about the end of the shuttle program, but it's been coming for quite some time. Over 6 years since it was first proposed that the shuttle be retired. And that was in the wake of the tragic loss of the orbiter Columbia in February 1st, 2003. This pitch is fouled on straight back to the backstop, and the count remains 0-2. The foul poles here at Space Coast Stadium have banners honoring the 2 orbiters lost in flight. Columbia on the left field foul pole February 1st of 2003, and on the right field foul pole, Challenger, January of 2006, of 18, try to get 1986. It's a pop fly ball to Sergio Miranda at second for the final out. I'm just not having my night. I'm sitting here trying to tell you about challenge at the same time, but Goncalves hits a pop fly to Sergio Miranda at second for the final out. So Ramlo gives up a leadoff triple to Bigley, who's stranded at third along with Dozier at first. No runs, a hit, a walk, no errors, and 2 left. We go to the bottom of the 6th, and it's the Miracle still holding on to a 2-0 lead over the Manatees.
8-5, 5-4. 8-5, 5-4. Also, the Bobby Orr puck, which is autographed 8-5, 7.
Once again, if you want to email me with any questions, comments, or just to let me know you're out there, the email address is home@spacecoastbaseball.com. Or you can go to the spacecoastbaseball.com website. At the top, there's a link to give me an email. Let's talk about the rest of this homestand for the Manatees. This is the first of a 4-game series between the Manatees and the Fort Myers Miracle. Game number 2 is tomorrow night at 7:05. Saturday night also at 7:05. And then on Sunday, a day game at 1:05. We're off on Monday the 31st, which is Memorial Day. I'll be watching the Indy 500, and maybe you will too. And then after that, the Manatees go on the road for 4 games in Jupiter, which might help the Manatees turn their record around because Jupiter is the worst team in the Florida State League. As we said, the Manatees in last place in the North Division at 16-30. The Jupiter Hammerheads, the Marlins affiliate, are 14-32. And then after that 4-game series, June 1st through 4th in Jupiter, they're back here at home for a 4-game series, June 5th through 8th against Bradenton. All right, bottom of the 6th, Manatees still looking for a run. It'll be Eric Komatsu, Kentrail Davis, and Sergio Miranda. Miracle pitcher Liam Hendricks into his 6th inning of work. He's given up only 3 hits. First pitch by Liam. Fastball misses away, 1-0. Hendricks has struck out 5 and walked 2. Next pitch hits the inside corner with maybe a cut fastball, and the count's 1-1. He took a little bit off of that. His velocity when he's throwing the 4-seamer has consistently been in the upper 80s, and we've seen him niche 90-91 a couple of times. This is a ball that misses away, and the count is 2-1. Hendricks does not appear in either the Baseball America Prospect Handbook or John Sickles' Baseball Prospect book. Komatsu checks his swing, but it's called a strike on the outside corner, and the count's 2-2. But the Miracle seem to think very highly of him, and his numbers between Beloit and Fort Myers this year very impressive. 2-2 pitch. Swung on and missed on a changeup, and we can say goodbye to Eric Komatsu, who becomes the 6th strikeout victim for Liam Hendricks. So that'll bring up the cleanup hitter, Kentrail Davis, who struck out looking in the 2nd. Struck out swinging in the 2nd and struck out looking in the 4th. Hendricks comes back with that breaking ball, and Kentrail swings and misses 0-1. I can't tell. I think it's probably a changeup because it doesn't. If it's a curveball, it's got 12-6 action, which means from top to bottom, the bottom drops out of it. But I would think the velocity would be a little bit lower, so I'm guessing it was probably as a changeup. 0-1 pitch. Checks his swing when it's called a strike, and the count's 0-2. Hendricks, after throwing a lot of fastballs earlier, is now really coming in with his off-speed stuff. Change-ups and breaking balls. 0-2 pitch. There's another big looper that misses away, and the count goes 1-2. He's going slow, slow, slow here against Contrail. 1-2 pitch. Swung on a fastball, and it goes back to the backstop, and the count remains 0-2. I'd definitely like to see Contrail get his first professional home run. He was a power hitter at the University of Tennessee. 1-2 pitch, another breaking ball, and it's fouled back over the overhang along the third baseline and out of the ballpark, and the count remains 0-2. One-two pitch by Liam. Inside corner with a fastball, strike 3 called, and Contrail is gone for the third time. So 3 strikeouts in a row for Liam Hendricks. And with 2 down, that'll bring up Sergio Miranda, one of 3 Manatees named to the Florida State League All-Star game today, along with Eric Komatsu and Matt Klein. First pitch to Miranda is fouled back to the left side of the press box. Counts 0-1. Miranda grounded back to the mound and reached on the fielder's choice in the 4th. Next pitch misses down and away, and it counts 1-1. One pitch. Breaking ball is bounced on a couple of hops down to third. Romero throws it away, and advancing to second on the throw will be Sergio Miranda. So that's going to be an error on the third baseman, Nick Romero. So the Manatees, who've had only 3 hits tonight and unable to score a run, they'll take any charity they can get. For Romero, that's just his 3rd error in 35 games. Although he's had only 18 games at third base this year. All right, so Miranda at second and Sean Halton at the plate. First pitch by Hendricks is a breaking ball. It's popped up foul along the first base side, raging over towards the Manatees dugout, and nabbing it for the final out is the first baseman, Chris Parmalee. So no runs, no hits, an error, and 1 left. After 6, Miracle 2, Manatees nothing. Well, I don't know what it's going to take for the Manatees to turn it around here. You know, they came in, obviously they weren't going to have the talent of the 2009 Manatees, which had the best win-loss record in the Florida State League. That went to the playoffs only to be eliminated by the Tampa Yankees in the first round. But I think at the beginning of the year, if you had said 46 games into the season, that the Manatees would have hit only 4 home runs to date, all of them on the road, and that they'd have the worst ERA in the league, I think you'd be hard-pressed to believe that. And certainly we expected a much more exciting debut from center fielder Kentrell Davis, being a supplemental first-round draft pick. And by supplemental, that just means it's a bonus pick that the Brewers got after the first round in exchange for losing a free agent. And Brock Helgard, who had been playing some first base and mostly left field, had over 20 home runs last year with Wisconsin. So you figure there was going to be some power in the lineup. But it just hasn't manifested itself. And again, the ballpark has something to do with that. But, you know, the fences are the same for both sides. And certainly manager Bob Missick has done what he can to manufacture runs. because he has three hitters in Matt Klein and Eric Komatsu and Sergio Miranda all hitting over 300. So he puts the runners in motion, but the absence of power is really hurting. All right, top of the seventh, Mike Ramlow facing the top of the lineup with Joe Benson, followed by Starlin De Los Santos and Chris Parmalee. First pitch by Ramlow. Fastball misses away and the count's 1-0. Benson popped out the third, flied out to right, and walked. Next pitch by Ramlow. It's the outside corner. That's where he wanted the last pitch, and it's called a strike. The count's 1-1. Next pitch by Ramlow. Breaking ball misses down and away, and the count's 2-0, or 2-1. Mike's next pitch swung on, and he just gets a piece of it, leaves it right there at the plate, picked up by Zaraga, and the count's 2-2. Control Davis again, shaded far over the opposite way in right center field for Benson. This pitch swung on and missed, 90-mile-an-hour fastball right up in his eyes. And that's the second strikeout from Mike Ramlow. And it's the first time that Benson's gone down swinging. Checking on Florida Today's website, I see that the countdown is still proceeding for the Delta IV launch. 2 hours from now, it's scheduled to go at 11 o'clock, a 19-minute window that begins then. First pitch by Ramlow is swung on, and it's a foul ball that curls back on the first base side into the stands, and the count's 0-1. I think, win or lose, everybody would like to get out of here as soon as they can so they can go and watch the launch. 0-1 pitch misses inside, and the count's 1-1. With much of the employment in the area being tied to the space program, of course, everybody pays attention to a launch, man or unmanned. There's a breaking ball that misses down and away, and the count's 2-1. But there is a certain segment of the populace. I moved here almost exactly a year ago, and I'm always surprised to run into people here who couldn't care less about the space program. Fastball up and in, swung on a miss, and the count's 2-2. And every once in a while you hear people who say they wish it would go away because they don't like the noise from the launches, they don't like the crowds, and they think if the space program dried up and went away, there'd be fewer people living here and it'd be more peaceful. I don't think they make the connection that also means that there'd be a lot less jobs here and there'd be a lot less services. Well, they're entitled to their opinion. 2-2 pitch. Fastball is the outside corner, strike 3 called. Third strikeout for Ramlow, second in a row. And that'll bring up first baseman Chris Parmalee, who flied out to right, singled, and struck out looking. I'm checking the weather forecast. It looks really good. Just 10% chance of rain the next 2 hours, which gets us to midnight. First pitch taken for a strike, 0-1. Really nothing till daybreak, which is always a good sign, because especially as we get into the middle of the summer here, the weather gets much more unpredictable. Breaking ball, and it's a big fly ball hit to deep right field. Sanchez watching it leave the park, and it's gone for a home run by Chris Parmalee. Second home run of the year for Chris Parmalee here with the Fort Myers Miracle. Ramlow left a breaking ball up in the eyes of Chris Parmalee, and he hammered that down the right field line. Sanchez started to chase after it and gave up on it. So the Miracle now lead the Manatees 3-0, and that'll bring up the DH, Damonson Romero. First pitch fouled into the stands on the right field side, goes down a runway, and the count's 0-1. Ramlow's missed a lot of time between 2009 and 2010 due to injury, so obviously he's going to be off with his location. Fastball misses away, and the count's 1-1. For all the attention that velocity gets, it's really not as important as location and movement. There's a fastball inside. The count goes 2-1. Major league hitters will take a 100-mile-an-hour fastball and turn around on it if it's flat and straight. It's got to be having some movement on it, or it can't be down the heart of the plate. Next pitch is fouled, and again curls back over on the right field side and goes down that same runway, and the count's 2-2. Of course, you can get away with more mistakes the further down you go in the minor leagues. But you hang a breaking ball to most hitters even at this level, and you're going to be in big trouble. 2-2 pitch by Ramlow is fouled yet again down towards the same place, and this time it's over in the aluminum bleachers. The stands here at Space Coast Stadium, there's a lower row, a lower section of about 7 rows of box seats. Then there's a concrete walkway, and then above that are about another 20 or so rows of seats. Fastball taken for a called strike 3. So Ramlow strikes out the side, but in the middle of that is a solo home run by Chris Carmely. We go to the bottom of the 7th. It's the Miracle 3 and the Manatees nothing. Quickly winding up on telling you about the seating here. As I said, you've got about 7 rows of box seats all the way around the horseshoe. Then you've got a concrete walkway, and then above that is about another 20 rows or so of seats. They're mostly box seats except for the last couple of sections down either line, which are aluminum bleachers. And I would normally call them the euchre seats, except they actually do have something here designated the euchre seat, which is a promotion, and it's way at the right end of the press box here. We have basically 2 levels. The level we're on, the lower level, is press boxes and luxury suites. This is basically what's called the 3rd floor here. And then on the 4th floor are the executive suites for the Manatees and the Washington Nationals when they're here during spring training. And so at the far end of that, on the right side, is a small patio, and that has a sign on that says euchre seat. Liam Hendricks is done for the night, as we have a new pitcher in for the Miracle. It appears... Well, let me get his number. Because it appears to be number 38. And that would make him Bruce Pugh. Well, that's not right. That's 28. 38 would be Steve Blevins, Blevins. So we'll tell you about Blevins in just a little bit. For Hendricks, 6 shutout innings. He gave up 3 hits. Struck out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Manatees in 6 innings. Walked 2. So an excellent outing in his 4th Florida State League start by Liam Hendricks. So number 38, Steve Blevins, right-hander, comes in to pitch for the Manatees, who are down only 3-0. That's not too bad. They can make a comeback on that. Catcher Sansaraga leads it off, followed by Scott Krieger and Juan Sanchez. First pitch by Blevins. Fastball hits the outside corner, strike 1. Blevins making his 7th appearance, all in relief for Fort Myers. 10 2/3 innings. Next pitch misses, and it's 1-1. In 10 2/3 innings, 9 hits, 2 runs, struck out 8, walked 2. Next pitch by Blevins. Hits the inside corner with a fastball and counts 1-2. Blevins 6'2", 221, 23 years and counting, out of Louisa, Kentucky. 1-2 pitch by Blevins. It's bounced over Blevins' head, and it's going to go, no, not into center field. It's cut off by the second baseman, Dozier. As he slid into center field, he stopped the ball from going out to center, and then he flipped the ball to the shortstop, De Los Santos, who had no chance to throw out Zaraga at first. So Sean Zaraga, 3 for 3, a couple of bloopers into left and left center field, and then he bounces one over the pitcher, Blevins, and it should have gone into center field, but Dozier dove to keep it from going into the outfield, and Zaraga is on with a leadoff single. So that'll bring up Scott Krieger. The first pitch gets away from the catcher, Herman, and advancing to second on the pitch is Zaraga. And as I've said, we don't get a ruling on wild pitch versus pass ball. I'm going to give that as a pass ball because he did have a chance at it. It wasn't in the dirt. It was just off the tip of his glove on the inside corner, and it rolled away. So Zaraga is on second with nobody out. Next pitch by Blevins. Fastball hits the outside corner, and the count's 1-1. We mentioned that Krieger struck out 100 times plus in 277 at-bats last year with rookie Helena, but he did hit 13 home runs in a half season. Next pitch hits the outside corner with the fastball, and the count's 1-2. Krieger playing in left field tonight, giving Brock Kelgard the night off. And Kelgard led the league in strikeouts before he got the night off. There's a breaking ball. Did it hit the outside corner? No. And the count goes 2-2. Krieger checked his swing, and home plate umpire Brandon Henson checked with the infield umpire Roberto Medina to see if he thought that Krieger went around, and he said no. So the count's 2-2. Next pitch by Blevins. He checked the swing that time. Nope, went around. Strike 3. So it's the first strikeout for Blevins. And that'll bring up the number 9 hitter, right fielder Juan Sanchez, who's flied out to center and singled. Blevins, right-hander, working from the stretch with his back foot on the third base side of the rubber. Zaraga takes his lead off second, and the first pitch to Sanchez is up and in, and the count's 1-0. Next pitch by Blevins is swung on, and it's a line drive foul here on the first base side. Blevins was aiming for the outside part of the plate, and Sanchez slapped it away. Blevins began his career in 2008 with the Twins in the Gulf Coast League here in Florida. He appeared in 8 games. Leaves a fastball up high, and it counts 2-1. He got in 8 games in relief with the Gulf Coast League Twins. Allowed 3 runs in 9 innings, struck out 10 and walked 2. And then he moved up to high rookie A in the Appalachian League in Elizabethton. We had a 5.47 ERA and 17 relief appearances. There's a fly ball looped down the right field line. Giving ground into the corner is the right fielder Bigley. Advancing to third on the fly out is Zaraga. So the ball got up into the wind, and it kept on carrying down the right field line. Sanchez slapping it the other way. I didn't think it had that much carrying on it, but Bigley kept giving ground, and I'm thinking it just got into the airstream up there. Bigley caught it and tagging up and going to third on the fly out of Zaraga. So the Manatees' first run, 90 feet away with 2 down, back to the top of the lineup with Josh Prince, who's grounded out to short twice and flied out to right. Blevins working from the stretch with the runner on third, even with 2 outs in this first pitch. Once again, it bounces over the third baseman's head for a base hit. Scoring is Zaraga to give the Manatees their first run. Prince swung on the first pitch his last time up, which was unexpectedly aggressive for him. He's usually a little bit more patient. This one took a big bounce over the head of the third baseman, Nick Romero. The shortstop, De Los Santos, went way out into the grass in short left field to get the ball. There was no way he was going to throw out Josh Prince. And scoring on the single is Zaraga, and now the Manatees have cut the deficit to 3-1. And that'll bring up third baseman Matt Klein. Prince definitely tried to go, and he does. There's a breaking ball left up high. The throw down to second is bounced, and Josh Prince has his 12th stolen base of the year. 12 for 15. The second baseman, Dozier, came over to cover the bag. Pitch missed away, and the count's now 1-0. But a base hit here could score Prince and cut the deficit to 3-2. Next pitch to Klein. Fastball hits the outside corner and the count's 1-1. Matt Klein came into the game number 4 in batting average in the league at .333. That has an on-base percentage of .436. This is going to be a little looper. It's going to fall into center field for a base hit. Around third coming in to try to score is Prince. The throw to the plate. He slides around the catcher. Herman slaps his hand on the bag to make it 3-2 on the base hit by Matt Klein. So the Manatees, having seen Liam Hendricks depart for the night, are taking advantage of Stephen Blevins. Sean Zaraga led it off with a single, advanced to second on a pass ball. And then after Scott Krieger struck out, Zaraga advanced to third on the fly out to right by Sanchez. Zaraga then scores on the single by Klein. Now, let me get my facts straight here just a bit. First pitch misses high and away, ball 1 of Komatsu. Zaraga scored on... All right, well, I've lost somebody here. I'll get back to you in a second. There's a snap throw to first, and diving back in is Klein. All right, I see what happened. Like I said, I'm on antihistamines tonight, so I'm not here at 100%. Zaraga single, advanced to second on the pass ball, moved to third on the fly out to right by Sanchez. With 2 down, Prince singled in Zaraga. This pitch is swung on and it's fouled down the left field line and it's curling into the bleachers, and the count's 1-2. And then Prince, after he singled, stole second and scored in the single by Klein. And so that's where we are. Manatees trailing 3-2 to the Miracle with 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th. Klein takes his lead off at first. And the pitch is a bouncer on 1 hop to the first baseman, Parmalee, who goes to the bag for the final out. But the Manatees managed to chip away and put 2 runs on the board on 3 hits. No errors and 1 left. We've gone 7 here at Space Coast Stadium. It's the Miracle 3 and the Manatees 2. Well, we said coming into this game that we thought it would be a fairly evenly matched game, not because these are 2 really good teams. They are 2 of the lesser teams in terms of win-loss record in the Florida State League. The Manatees came in at 16-30. The Miracle came in at 19-27. Fort Myers, 3.94 team RA, 10th in the 12-team league. Brevard County at 4.35, last in the 12-team league. Offensively, Brevard County batting .260, which is 7th in the league. Fort Myers at .239 is number 11. But Fort Myers has 16 home runs on the year, while the Manatees have just 4. If you want to compare on base percentage, they're about even. Fort Myers at .329, the Manatees .331. Well, I'm sorry, that's slugging percentage. The slugging percentage, Fort Myers .329, Brevard County .331. On base percentage, Fort Myers .306, Brevard County .323. Mike Ramlow is done for the night. Corey Frerichs in to pitch. So for Mike Ramlow, 2 innings. He gave up a solo home run and a triple. He struck out 4 and he walked 1. So a bit mixed results, but you certainly take a positive in the 4 strikeouts by Ramlow. Corey Frerichs coming in to pitch. For Corey, it's his 18th game in relief. 2-1 with a 4.03 ERA. 29 innings, 13 runs, 25 hits. He struck out 21. He's walked 9 and hasn't given up a home run yet, which is a good sign because Fort Myers has 2 dingers tonight already. Corey wears number 34, 5'11", 200 pounds. He turned 24 on May 7th out of Conroe, Texas.
The right fielder, number 21, Evan Bigley.
Looking to hold Fort Myers to the 3-2 lead. There'll be Evan Bigley followed by Chris Herman, and then the second baseman, Brian Dozier. First pitch, fastball taken, and it's 0-1. Infield playing deep, not looking for a bunt attempt at all by Bigley. Next pitch by Frericks is a breaking ball that bends over the plate, and the count is 0-2. If you're hearing all those childlike cries of glee or whatever they sound like, there's a birthday party, child's birthday party in the luxury suite next to our press box. There's a breaking ball, and it's bounced on a hop down to Matt Klein at third. Throw off line to the first baseman, Halton, who wheels around and tags Bigley going by for the first out. Matt Klein points across the diamond at Halton saying, "Thank you very much for saving me from being credited with an error there." The throw was up the line, and Halton leapt in the air and on the way back down swung around and tagged Bigley as he went by. So 1 out, and that'll bring up the catcher, Chris Herman, who's 0 for 3. Frericks working from the stretch, even with nobody on. First pitch, fastball misses away, 1-0. Corey's fastball velocity seems to be only about in the mid-80s tonight, 85, 86. 1-0 pitch is a fly ball hit up the alley in left center field. This is going to get down, and it may go to the wall. It takes one big hop, and it goes over the fence, where it's caught by a child out on the berm, so it's going to be a stand-up double for Chris Herman.
The second baseman, number 19, Brian Dozier.
For Herman, who came into the game batting just .238, that's his 10th double of the year. He has only 1 home run and no triples. But he represents an important insurance run for Fort Myers. He saw their 3-0 lead whittled to 3-2 in the bottom of the 7th. So with 1 out and Herman on second, that brings up the second baseman, Brian Dozier. First pitch is a fastball at 87 and misses away, and the count's 1-0. Dozier walked and scored on a home run, fouled out to first and then walked. 1-0 pitch by Frericks is a breaking ball that sweeps away, and the count's 2-0. Next pitch by Corey is a grounder hit the opposite way to Miranda. He'll go on to first for the out, and advancing to third on the fielder's choice is Herman. And that's good, solid baseball, because with a runner on second, nobody or 1 out, the batter really wants to advance that runner over to third and put him into scoring position. So I guarantee you, those who know baseball will say a little gold star there for Brian Dozier. And with 2 outs, that'll bring up the third baseman, Nick Romero. Batting left-handed, the first pitch by Frericks. Fastball hits the outside corner, and the count's 0-1. Romero struck out twice, flied out to right. Corey's 0-1 pitch. Fastball up and away, and the count's 1-1. Velocity now picking up a little bit. The last one was 88, and the radar says that was 90. Matt Klein at third, about even with the bag, with 2 outs. Next pitch, fastball hits the outside corner, and the count goes 1-2. So Corey 1 out away from denying Fort Myers an insurance run. 1-2 pitch is a breaking ball that sliced foul along the left field line, and it curls back into the stands. I was watching Kentrail Davis in center field because normally he's been playing the hitters the opposite way, and with the left-handed hitting Romero, he was a couple of steps over into right center, and just as the pitch was released, he took a couple of steps back into dead center, which is where he's at now. The next pitch is swung on, and Romero just gets a piece of it, fouls it down off his foot, and the count remains 1-2. And the reason he shifted position just as the pitch was being released is he did not want to tip to that batter what might be coming. Because if you're playing in the right center field for a left-handed batter, it suggests you might be pitching him in or throwing him a fastball. An off-speed pitch or a pitch away might get sliced the opposite way. And that's why Cantrell hopped back towards center and a step towards left center as that curveball was released. All right, 1-2 pitch. As a breaking ball that misses down and away, and the count is 2-2. Next time you're at a ball game, I know it's hard to do, but instead of watching the eternal dance between the pitcher and the batter, try to find an inning to watch the defense movements as each pitch is released. 2-2 pitch is going to be looped the opposite way. Is it going to stay up? Yes, it is, for the left fielder, Scott Krieger, for the final out. No runs. A hit, the double by Chris Herman. He's left at third. And as we go to the bottom of the eighth, it's the Miracle 3, the Manatees 2. Let's see if we're going to have another pitching change for Fort Myers. The gate from their bullpen out in the left field wall is open. But that could simply mean that one of the pitchers out there is going to play catch with the outfielders. When you have three outfielders, two of them play catch with each other, and then somebody else has to go out and play catch with that remaining outfielder. And that's what's happening here, that the Fort Myers left fielder, Goncalves, is going to play catch to warm up for the bottom of the eighth. He's playing catch with one of the pitchers in the Fort Myers bullpen. Once again, if you live here locally in the Space Coast, if you've never been to a Manatees game, it's one of the more affordable means of entertainment in Brevard County. Single game tickets are only $7 each. If you're a student or you're in the military, you bring your student or military ID and you can get in for only $5 each. The seating here is all general admission, which means you can sit wherever you want, with the exception of the box seats that have the yellow stickers on them indicating that they're reserved, and those belong to season ticket holders. Now we're more than a third of the way, almost half the way through the season. So the season ticket package is modified a little bit. The full season package for 70 home games is $280, which is $4 per game. And they'll still give you that. You'll get 70 tickets, which you can use however you want. So if you wanted to bring yourself and 69 friends to a game, you could do that. All right, first pitch to Kentrell Davis here in the bottom eighth is a line drive foul. It just misses a fan sitting up in the third base seats. And I think that fan is just scared more than anything else. It appears it's an elderly woman. She covered her face with her eyes. If she got hit at all, it may have grazed off of her. And yeah, she did get hit because one of the ushers is waving for medical attention. I think it just grazed off the side of her head. This is going to be a breaking ball. It's hung, and it's going to fall into left center field. No! Yes, it did. It got past the diving left fielder. The center fielder is chasing after it. Cantrell turning on the afterburners, going into third, and Cantrell Davis has a leadoff triple. Blevins hung a curveball, and Cantrell hit it at the alley in left center field. I thought for sure it was going to fall down, but it hung. Goncalves, going up the alley, dove for it and had a chance at it, but missed it. It got past him, and then the center fielder, Benson, had to chase it down. First pitch is a line drive foul down the third base line, and it goes down one of the runways and leaves the ballpark, count 0-1. So it got past Goncalves. Benson had to go chasing it back towards the warning track, and we saw that plus speed that Cantrell Davis has. So he's on third, representing the tying run. 0-1 pitch is a bouncer past the pitcher over to the second baseman, Dozier, who goes on to the first baseman, Parmalee, for the out. Infield was playing in to keep the tying run, Davis at third. And Davis made sure, or rather Dozier made sure to look Davis back to third before going on to first. So Miranda is gone, and that'll bring up first baseman Sean Halton, who walked, struck out, and fouled out to first. Now time is called, and the infielders are coming in to meet with the pitcher, and out comes the pitching coach, Steve Mintz. I was mentioning in the beginning of the ball game that it was a veteran coaching staff for the Twins. Jake Mauer, who is the older brother of Twins catcher Joe Mauer, had 5 seasons in the Twins farm system, but suffered an elbow injury that forced him to retire after 2005. And he accepted a job as a minor league coach with the Twins, and now he's managing. The hitting coach, Jim Dwyer, had a lengthy career, mostly as a situation hitter in the big leagues, most notably with the Baltimore Orioles, also with the Cardinals, Expos, and several other teams. And their pitching coach is Steve Mintz, who made his major league debut in 1995 with the San Francisco Giants. Spent 2 seasons in the big leagues. He was with the Giants in 1995 and with the then Anaheim Angels in 1999. And now he's a pitching coach in the Twins organization. All right, infield still playing in with 1 out, and Sean Halton at the plate. First pitch by Blevins, down and away, 1-0. All 4 infielders are in. Nick Romero at third, De Los Santos at short, Dozier at second, and Parmalee at first. A 1-0 pitch. Wow, down and away, almost got away from the catcher Herman. The count's 2-0. You almost have to wonder if they were saying that Halton might swing at a bad pitch. The first 2 have missed, and now let's see if maybe they're just going to waste a couple of pitches. Herman not showing an intentional walk, but he is sitting up on the outside corner. There's a pitch that's up high, and the count's 3-0. On deck is Sean Zaraga, who came into the game batting .322. There is someone throwing in the Fort Myers bullpen. 3-0 pitch. Fastball hits the outside corner. It's 3-1. As I said, the visitors' bullpen behind the left field fence, and all we can see is the torso of anybody who's standing on the mound out there. 3-1 pitch. Misses away, ball 4. So Kentrell Davis remains on third with his leadoff triple. Halton on first with a 1-out walk. That's going to be it for Steve Blevins. So he leaves after an inning and a third. He gave up at least 2 runs. We'll see if Davis and Halton score, because they'll be charged to him. He gave up 3 hits and 2 walks. And we'll see how many runs he's going to be charged with. He struck out 1. Let me get the number for you of the new pitcher. He's a right-hander, fairly tall fellow. So this is going to be number 35, Billy Bullock, B-U-L-L-O-C-K, 6'6", 225, out of Riverview, Florida. Somewhere in the state, I'll have to look that up. 22 years of age. Bullock making his 18th appearance of the year. He is the closer for Fort Myers. He has 8 saves, 0-2, 2.25 ERA, in 24 innings. He struck out 31, walked 10. given up 6 runs, hit 2 batters, and given up a home run. Bullock wears number 35. So he'll face catcher Sean Zaraga with Kentrell Davis on third and Sean Halton on first. 1 out. Manatees trailing 3-2. Bullock working from the stretch, and his first pitch is down and in, 1-0. That registered at 92 on the radar. Of course, if a pitch gets away from the catcher Herman, Davis with plus speed at third is going to score. 1-0 pitch, swung on and missed at a fastball, and the count's 1-1. Bullock is ranked number 15 by Baseball America in their top 30 Minnesota Twins prospects list for 2010. Drafted in the second round last year out of the University of Florida. Another fastball swung on and missed, and the count goes 1-2. Baseball America says Bullock, 6'6" physical frame and a big fastball. 1-2 pitch is fouled back this way, gets over the net, just to the left of the press box, and the count remains 1-2. BA says that Bullock was a tease throughout his college career and didn't have consistent success until his junior season when he was shifted into a closer role. The 1-2 pitch is fouled, goes down the left field line into the stands where it's caught on the fly by a fan. And ironically, his pitching coach at Florida, Kevin O'Sullivan, was a former Twins minor league pitching coach. And it was his idea to shift Bullock into the closer role. Another pitch that's fouled over the aluminum overhang on the left on the third base side, and the count remains 1-2. BA says that Bullock's fastball sits at 93 to 95, peaks at 97 and 98, and can have explosive late life up in the zone when he's at his best. 1-2 pitch. It's the inside corner with a off-speed pitch, strike 3 called. That may have been a two-seamer because the velocity was down a little bit. BA says he challenges hitter's eye level with a hard slider that made significant progress in 2009 as he added depth and tilt to the pitch. Both could be plus-plus pitches, though his command would have to improve markedly for that to happen. That might have been the slider. If he has a 90-mile-an-hour slider, goodness gracious. First pitch to Krieger is taken for a strike, 0-1. Next pitch by Bullock is a line drive over the glove of De Los Santos and shortstop for a base hit. Davis scores to tie it at 3. Advancing to second is Halton. And we have a 3-3 tie here in the bottom of the 8th with 2 out. Well, Scott Krieger, who came in infamous for striking out and struck out 2 of his 3 at-bats, just went for contact there, reached out and poked the ball over the head of the shortstop De Los Santos in the left center field for a base hit. That scored Davis, and advancing to second on the single is Sean Halton. So that'll bring up the right fielder, Juan Sanchez. First pitch by Bullock, down and away, and the count's 1-0. Sanchez flied out to center, singled, and flied out to right. Number 9 hitter in the Manatees lineup. There's a breaking ball that's left up high, and the count's 2-0. I think that was supposed to be a curve. I don't think that was the slider because it didn't have that type of movement on it. If he has a 90-mile-an-hour slider, which I think that 2-strike pitch was, he is going to be really something if he can be consistent. Next pitch misses down and away, and it counts 3-0. The good pitchers also can throttle their fastballs, and they might show you that fastball at 95, 96, and then they use the same motion, but it comes in at 91, 92, and your timing's off just enough. 3-0 pitch, way up and in, ball 4. Sanchez took a step or two towards the mound. I don't know why he would bother doing that, but he heads over to first on the walk. Advancing to second is Krieger. Advancing to third is Halton. So now the bases are loaded with 2 outs. We go back to the top of the lineup to Josh Prince, who singled his last time up to score Sean Zaraga and get the Manatees on the board. 3-3 tie here with 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th. The bases are loaded. Manatees trying to break a 7-game losing streak. First pitch to Josh is a breaking ball up and in, and it counts 1-0. Josh bats right-handed. The left fielder is shaded just a little bit in the left center. The center fielder considerably shaded over into right center field, and the right fielder playing Josh a couple of steps towards the right field line. There's a pitch down and away, and it counts 2-0, and Bullock has lost his control. If Josh can hit it to left center field, he's got a big gap there between the left fielder Goncalves and the center fielder Benson. And with a fastball pitch like Bullock, you just got to make contact. There's a fastball. It just got a piece of the inside corner, and it counts 2-1. Bullock is taking a little velocity off of his fastball, trying to get more control. 2-1 pitch. Down the middle with a fastball, and it counts 2-2. And now Bullock 1 strike from getting out of the inning. Prince looking just to make contact. 2-2 pitch. He has got a line foul down the right field line into the stands, and the count remains 2-2. Halton at third, Krieger at second, Sanchez at first. A base hit gives the Manatees the lead. Bullock's 2-2 pitch. It's the outside corner, strike 3 called. Well, Josh can't be taking a pitch that's borderline like that. He has to reach out and make contact. But it is what it is, and in any case, the Manatees tie it up. They get a run on 2 hits, 2 walks, and they leave the bases loaded. We go to the 9th. It's the Miracle 3 and the Manatees 3. Well, we go to the top of the 9th in a 3-3 tie. And as we said, there's a rocket launch scheduled at Cape Canaveral Air Force Base for 11. So we obviously want to get out of here before then so we can see the launch. If you went outside of Space Coast Stadium, you could see it by looking to the northeast. If you're down here inside the stadium, depending where you're at, if you were on the first base side, you might actually see it curling away. But the launch pad is about 20 miles from here. From the press box, we're looking in the wrong direction. We wouldn't be able to see it. And if you're not familiar with the setup out there, Cape Canaveral Air Force Station is technically different from Kennedy Space Center. Cape Canaveral Air Force Station is where the unmanned rockets launch from. That's where Mercury and Gemini, the manned launches, were in the early 60s, but then with Apollo and everything since then, it's been up the coast in Kennedy Space Center, which is the civilian side. All right, top of the 9th. Corey Frerich's back. First pitch to Goncalves, who shows bunt, is taken, misses away, and it counts 1-0. Goncalves hit a 2-run homer in the 3rd to give the Miracle a 2-0 lead. Next pitch by Corey, it's the outside corner, and the count is 1-1. The lady in the last inning, who on the third baseline, who got hit, grazed by the pitch, just went by in a wheelchair. 1-1 pitch, misses inside, and the count's 2-1. She was holding a cold compress to her right cheek, and I thought it maybe had just missed her, but apparently it must have grazed her. 2-1 pitch. As a high fly ball to left field. Krieger, a couple of steps to his left, now he's coming in, and he has it for the first out. So Goncalves is gone, and we go to the top of the lineup to Joe Benson. Benson 0 for 3 with a walk and a stolen base. Frerichs working from the stretch even with nobody on. It's a common thing that relievers do, and his first pitch to Benson is a fastball taken for a strike 0-1. I told you earlier what Baseball America had to say about Joe Benson. Now we tell you about what John Sickles says in his 2010 Baseball Prospect book. 0-1 pitch, fastball left up high and away, and it counts 1-1. John Sickles writes that Benson's tools have never been in doubt. Says he was very raw when he was drafted and has had significant problems with contact and strike zone judgment at the lower levels. 1-1 pitch, fastball inside corner, and the count is 1-2. Sickles writes that Benson made progress correcting those flaws in 2009, raising his walk rate at Fort Myers and boosting his power production slightly. 1-2 pitch, breaking ball, and it's hammered foul. Bounces over the Miracle dugout on the third base side into the stands, and the count remains 1-2. It says that Benson's range and throwing arm are above average, giving him defensive value as well. And Sickles also mentions the fact that Benson broke his hand punching a wall. Takes a curveball, strike 3 called. First strikeout for Frerichs, and with 2 down, that'll bring up Starlin de los Santos, the shortstop, who struck out, singled, walked, and struck out looking in the 7th. Anytime a ball player breaks a hand punching a wall, you have to wonder about where their minds are at. The Manatees lost, I believe it was Caleb Gindel, for the postseason last year because of that. First pitch misses away, 1-0. Next pitch by Frerichs. Fastball down the middle, that counts 1-1. Next pitch, fastball outside corner, 87 miles an hour, and it counts 1-2. One-two pitch. Swung on and missed, strike 3. It's an off-speed pitch. May have been a cut fastball, and I don't think it was quite a curve, but in any case, De Los Santos goes down swinging for the final out. 1-2-3. Great job by Corey Frerichs. And as we go to the bottom of the 9th, the Miracle of Manatees are tied at 3. Closer Billy Bullock coming back to the mound for Fort Myers in the bottom of the 9th. Brevard trying to break a 7-game losing streak. And they've been a scrappy team at times. One of the earlier webcasts we did was against the Tampa Yankees, and they rallied to defeat Tampa in extra innings. But unfortunately, just haven't had much firepower, with only 4 home runs in their first 46 games. If you want to listen to one of the earlier webcasts that we've done here on SpaceCoastBaseball.com for the Manatees, if you just go to the website at www.spacecoastbaseball.com, on the menu bar on the homepage, you'll see multimedia. If you click on multimedia and select audio, that'll take you to the page where you'll see the archives for all the webcasts we've done this year. This is the 5th. You'll also see the playoff games that we did last year for the Manatees against the Tampa Yankees. Okay, bottom of the ninth. We're tied at 3. Matt Klein leading it off, followed by Eric Komatsu and Kentrell Davis. First pitch to Klein, hits the outside corner, strike 1. Matt popped out to second, grounded to third, struck out, and singled. 0-1 pitch is fouled back into the net, and the count is 0-2. Most of the fans are still here. I'd guess we have maybe around 1,200 tonight. It's a pretty good turnout for a Thursday night. 0-2 pitch to Matt. Misses away with a breaking ball, and the count's 1-2. Matt was definitely tempted, but he was patient, and the ball missed the outside corner by a good 4 or 5 inches. Center fielder Benson is playing Matt a good 30 feet into right center field. Next pitch is down and in, and it counts 2-2. Manager Bob Missick at third base coaching, takes off his helmet, rubs his bald head, puts his helmet back on. Been a tough year for him with a team that hasn't performed up to expectations. Next pitch is going to fall in left field. Yes, for a base hit. He tomahawked it. It seemed like it was about to die, and it did. It fell in front of the left fielder, Goncalves. Sometimes you watch the outfielders and you use that as a judgment as to what the ball is doing if you think your eyes are going to deceive you. And Goncalves started to charge it, and then he stopped after a couple of steps, and I thought that meant that the ball was going to hold up for him. But instead it died and fell in. So Klein is on first with a leadoff single, and that brings up Eric Komatsu. Let's see if Eric's going to be bunting. They're not looking for a bunt, but he does show bunt, and he bunts it foul back into the net, and the count's 0-1. The third baseman, Romero, was playing deep at third, not expecting a bunt. Well, let's face it, the only run that matters is Matt Klein at first, and with nobody out, the Manatees need to get him in scoring position. Komatsu is the best contact hitter in the league. He does show bunt again. It leaves it right in front of the plate. The pitcher, Bullock, has it, throws over to the second baseman, Dozier, covering it first. So on the sacrifice, Komatsu is erased 1-4, and Klein advances to second on the sacrifice. As we said, Komatsu has the best ratio in the league when it comes to fewest strikeouts to total plate appearances. So now Kentrell Davis is at the plate. First pitch by Bullock, fastball taken, strike 1. Kentrell, 3 strikeouts and a triple in the 8th. Bullock's next pitch is swung on and fouled back into the net, and the count's 0-2. Although he doesn't have a home run, you'd think Kentrell would represent more power than Sergio Miranda, who's on deck. And you would think you might consider walking Davis to set up a double play to get out of the inning. But Bullock is being aggressive and facing Davis. 0-2 pitch, down and in, and the count's 1-2. The 3 outfielders are playing a bit shallow. That's to cut off a single and try to keep Klein from scoring. The 1-2 pitch is fouled back this way, just to the left of the press box, and the count remains 1-2. Bullock looking for his 3rd strikeout here. He has Kentrell Davis 1-2, and the pitch is up and in, and the count goes 2-2. Matt Klein takes his lead off from second. 2-2 pitch. Oh, it hits him in the back, and Kentrell Davis will be on first after being hit by a pitch. It looked like that got him up maybe around the right shoulder. It might have gone down on his right arm, down towards his elbow, because he's swinging his right arm back and forth, and almost indicates like it might have hit him somewhere between the elbow and the right shoulder. And not to be cold about it, but Cantrell's run really doesn't matter. It's Matt Klein who can end the game at second. And we were speculating that maybe it would have been better to walk Davis intentionally and set up a double play to face Miranda here. First pitch to Sergio, batting left-handed against right-hander Bullock, is fouled back into the net, and it counts 0-1. Just need a base hit here, and that could end the game. 0-1 pitch is fouled back into the net, and it counts 0-2. Miranda leads the Manatees with 33 RBI. 0-2 pitch is fouled on the third base side. Almost goes down a runway, but it bounces back up into the stands, and there's about a dozen kids chasing after it. Miranda at one point was among the league leaders in RBI. Right now he's tied for fifth in RBI. Pitch gets away from the catcher, Herman. Advancing to third is Klein. Advancing to second is Kentrail Davis. So technically it was a third strike, and it bounced off the glove of Herman. Apparently it was a called strike. And advancing to first on the missed strikeout is Sergio Miranda. Let's see if they charge an error to Herman. We're going to have a pinch runner, I believe, at first. I don't know what's going on here, because we've seen... All right, well, Miranda's no longer standing at first, so I'm guessing they called him out on the strikeout. First pitch by Bullock is blocked by Herman. It rolls away, but not enough for Klein to advance from second. So resetting what happened there, apparently it was a called third strike. Miranda advanced to first. Okay, I understand now, because when you have runners on first and second, the batter, when there's a runner on first and less than 2 outs, the batter cannot advance on a strike three that gets away from the catcher, but the runners can advance at their own peril, and that's why Miranda is out. Fastball misses away, and it counts 2-0. So Miranda is gone on a called third strike, even though the ball got away from Herman. And Klein advances to third on the passed ball, and Davis advances to second on the passed ball. And that's why Miranda couldn't go to first. Unless there's 2 outs, if there's a runner on first, the batter cannot advance. Okay, they're going to walk Halton intentionally to load the bases and face Sean Zaraga. So the count's now 3-0, and Herman's stepping out waiting for ball 4. So they'll put Halton on first. His run doesn't matter. Kentrell Davis at second. His run doesn't matter. The one that matters, Matt Klein, is at third. And I'll bring up the catcher, Sean Zaraga, who's singled 3 times and been caught looking on a strikeout. Out comes the pitching coach for the Miracle, Steve Mintz, to talk to Bullock. Once again, Billy Bullock is the Miracle's closer. He came in with a 2.25 record in 17 games, 8 saves, 24 strikeouts, 24 innings, 31 strikeouts, 10 walks. So if the Manatees can score a run here to win the game, they will hand Bullock his 3rd loss against one of the better prospects in the Twins organization. Sean Zaraga came into the game batting .322 with a .402 on-base percentage. In this case, literally, a walk is as good as a hit. First pitch by Bullock. Fastball up and away, ball one. If Bullock is having problems with his release point, then the best thing Zaraga can do is just sit there and make Bullock throw him a strike. 1-0 pitch is high, ball two. Klein at third, Davis at second, Halton at first, the 2-0 pitch. Fastball hits the outside corner and the count's 2-1. Bullock's velocity down around 90 miles an hour. He seems to be trying to give up velocity for location. 2-1 pitch. High, ball three. Three-one pitch. High, ball four. Manatees win.
Manatees win. Go! Manatees win!
The 7-game losing streak is over as the Manatees rally from a 3-0 deficit. They put 2 runs on the board in the bottom of the 7th, a run in the bottom of the 8th, and then in the bottom of the 9th, Matt Klein led it off with a single. Eric Komatsu bunted him to second. Kendrell Davis was hit by a pitch to put runners on first and second with 1 out. Sergio Miranda was struck out looking, but the ball got away from the catcher Herman, and the runners advanced to second and third. Halton was then walked intentionally to load the bases with 2 outs, and miracle closer Billy Bullock walked Sean Zaraga with the bases loaded, and the Manatees, in a dramatic comeback, defeat the Fort Myers Miracle by a score of 4-3. For the Miracle, 3 runs, 6 hits, 1 error. For the Manatees, 4 runs, 9 hits, and no errors. The win will go to Corey Freyricks in relief. He's now 3-1. And the loss will go to miracle closer Billy Bullock. He is now 0-3. Well, a reminder that we have 3 more games in this series. And like we said, both teams' records are roughly identical, although neither is having a good year. They should be rather evenly matched, and we saw that in tonight's game. Tomorrow night they're back here at 7:05. And on Saturday night at 7:05, and then Sunday they have a day game at 1:05. The Manatees are off on Monday on Memorial Day, and then they go on the road to Jupiter for a 4-game series against the Hammerheads, who are the Florida Marlins affiliate in the Florida State League. Then the Manatees return home on Saturday, June 5, for a 4-game series against the Bradenton Marauders, the Pittsburgh Pirates affiliate. That's a team that's new to the Florida State League. They replaced the Sarasota Reds. So you get to see the Pirates for 4 games. Saturday night, June 5 at 7:05, a Sunday day game at 1:05. And then June 7, which will be our next webcast against the Marauders, Monday night, June 7 at 7:05. And then the last game of that homestand is a noon game on Tuesday, June 8. Wrapping up the first half, the Manatees will be on the road for 2 games Thursday and Friday, June 9 and June 10 against the Daytona Cubs, and then they're off for the All-Star break June 11, June 12, and June 13th, with the Manatees hosting the All-Star game here on Saturday, June 12th. Well, another dramatic comeback for the Brevard County Manatees. They may not win often this year, but when they do it in dramatic fashion, and they did it tonight with a come-from-behind 4-3 win against the Fort Myers Miracle. Once again, a reminder, if you want to come out to Brevard County Manatees game, single-game tickets are only $7 each. If you're a student or you're in the military, if you bring your student ID or military ID, you can get in for just $5. If you want to get tickets you can call the Manatees box office at area code 321-633-9200. The same for All-Star Game tickets. They're going to be $8 instead of $7. But that's understandable because you're going to see the best talent in the Florida State League. And if you want more information on season tickets for the rest of the year, you can also get that information through the box office at area code 321-633-9200. You can also go to the Manatees website at www.manateesbaseball.com. And as I always remind you, we are the spring training home of the Washington Nationals, so we have a capacity here of 7,500, and for most nights, you can probably walk right up and buy your tickets here. You don't have to order in advance, although, of course, it's always a good idea. For that All-Star Game, though, I'm telling you, that probably will be a sellout or be close to it. So that being the exception, I wouldn't plan on just walking up. I definitely think you should make those reservations in advance. Well, thank you once again for listening to the 5th of 15 Manatee games that we will webcast in 2010, along with the Florida State League All-Star Game. This game will be archived on spacecoastbaseball.com. It'll be up on the homepage for you to listen to again sometime tomorrow. And if you want to listen to any of the other webcasts, again, just go to www.spacecoastbaseball.com. And on the menu bar, click on Multimedia, select Audio, and you'll see all the prior archives there. And finally, a reminder that these games are volunteered. Nobody's compensating us to do it. It's to help Manatees fans and the parents of the players and their loved ones to have a chance to listen to some of these games here. So if you enjoy listening to the webcast and you enjoy some of the content that you see on spacecoastbaseball.com with all the video clips that we do and the photography and everything else that's there, any contributions you make to help defray costs are most welcome. You can either make a one-time donation or you can sign up for a $5 a month voluntary subscription through PayPal. And for those of you who've already made your donations and subscriptions, your support is very much appreciated, and you're helping to make this little enterprise financially viable here in 2010. So once again, Manatees win by a score of 4-3 over the Fort Myers Miracle. We'll be back with our next webcast at 7:00. The next game is on Monday, June 7th against the Bradenton Marauders. Game time is 7:05 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. The pregame, which is when we'll be on, will be at 6:50 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Stephen Smith for SpaceCoastBaseball.com. Thanks as always for listening, and good night.